part of our event, you know. So Katz, Rashmi, and Lai, thank you very much. You know, it's really an honor to have all of you guys as judges for our event. For people who don't know, you know, Katz, obviously, he's CEO and president of Sustaina America, and he's also chairman of board for OneTech, and he's been working with us for many years now. And you know, Rashmi, she's a telecom consultant as well as a UTD professor, and a lot of you might have attended some of our classes on the latest telecom technology coming in, 5G, you know, and she's been giving some insights into the network operations and things like that. So thank you, Rashmi, for joining. And obviously Lai and us have worked together for more than 15 years, and she's a principal you know, architect, senior principal architect at AT&T, and you know, she has a lot of experience creating very you know, complex and very future-looking applications in her career. So thank you all for coming and being part of the judging process. I also want to thank the team for taking the time off from their evenings and weekends to come together to create this unique hackathon, right? This is the first time doing a hackathon which is online, by the way. Never done that before. And it's been great because I know each of you guys have been so busy, and we've been you know, touchwood, been very busy with our schedule for work. So for you guys to take time and be part of this event is an extraordinary effort, and I would like to thank each of you personally on that, right? So with that being said, you know, if any of you guys want to say anything, you know, just feel free, and then we will start in like a couple of minutes.
Well, I just wanted to say that it was great to have this opportunity, and it was good to have, you know, I had thought of something, and I think couple of us had, and trying to work with it, a little bit of struggle, but then we had this initiative, and I think that gave us more team members, and then drove more drive to produce something which hopefully will help the community during this whole pandemic. So that's so thank you, Yasir, for this opportunity. And if it will, whoever wins will have charitable contributions. So that will also that's also a good thing that we motivated us.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I would just say that this has actually been a really fun event for us. So it's allowed the team to come together, be really creative in the products that we can create with the technology that we use every day here at Plasma and OneTech. So the team I've worked with has been absolutely phenomenal. We've had late night calls, early morning calls, working on the weekends. And, you know, everyone's really come together. So it's been a fun team building opportunity and really exciting to see what we've done with the technology. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wants to add something?
Yes, I would say it's a very exciting event, and I believe that besides, as Maureen and Chris said, those projects is a solid contribution to the community. On the other hand, I believe that everybody could learn more advanced knowledge through our practicing towards this human beings enemy, and that those knowledge could be very critical in future, because I did not see this pandemic will end very soon. So yeah, it's very thanks Yasser provide us the opportunity to work on those projects, and thanks for all the engineers in these projects. I feel very excited, and I feel those knowledge summarized in these projects will be very useful for our future.
Thank you, Yanka.
I would just echo the sentiments of what most everybody here said. I also want to say thanks to Katz and Rashmi and Lai for joining. And to me, what's cool about a hackathon like this is just sort of to play on what Chris said, the creativity and just having everybody come together, sort of unrestrained and just just full creative knowledge going at it, and not really thinking necessarily about trying to build the business case, although it's always in the back of your mind, but it's just really about being creative, which is pretty cool.
And I think what would be interesting is to see everybody's projects, because each of the teams are set up a little differently. So it'll be very exciting once we see how the teams can use common technology to build many different things.
It's great.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what everybody put together, and it was exciting to work with the team and get creative. It was a fun experience.
Yeah,
Anyone
I
else
felt.
wants to add?
Yeah, I felt it's like a group learning process, not only the competition for the project. It's a group learning process for this coronavirus. And since it's a new coronavirus, and the knowledge is not presented in a systematic way, but with this event, it's a very good opportunity for us to do this group learning, and for our safety and for others' safety. This event must be a great contribution. We will see it in future, I believe.
Great.
So sir and team,
yes.
I just wanted to quickly say, I know you guys are thanking us for being here on a Sunday, but frankly, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it's kind of all gelled together. Right now, like every day seems like a Sunday because you all work from home, right? But I think what I've been noticing is that this period, I know you guys have been very productive, but there's a big creativity, energy, like a big creative vibe going on. I think we are coming up with some great ideas that's going to make this world a better place going forward. So, I'm glad that in this time and moment, you, instead of focusing on, the news, you guys have, taken this and contributed creatively towards finding solutions. So, no matter who wins this, kudos and congratulations to all the teams, because this is not easy to try and get the team, especially because our brains are wired to be working face to face with everyone. So I think this is rewiring our neurons a little differently, and it's changed. But you guys have been adapting to it and moving along. So this is a skill set. This is a new skill set that people who have gone through this time has picked up. So it's not just, I tell this to my students at UTD, it's not about you guys missing classes and having to go to online classrooms, but it's about what do you know about adapting to change. And this change has been so tremendous. To be able to adapt to that change in a week, in 2 weeks, that is a special skill set that is now programmed into everyone who's gone through this time, which is probably will not be available going forward, hopefully. But the people who are going through this right now and adapting so rapidly, they are a real asset to have, especially going to the future economy. So keep that in mind. But now that I know that you guys are working as teams, maybe I should, after the hackathon, I should put in a quiz for all the telecom trainings we did.
Yeah, that would be good.
The winning team gets the money only once they answer every question I put in there. Let's see who remembers.
Very good. Thank you, Rashmi. Katz, Lai, you want to say something? Oh.
Okay. Thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing the demo. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, from my perspective, I always impressed by the Plasma team, and now is a good chance to see how creativity can come out from the team that I admire the most. So looking forward to your presentation.
Very well. Thank you, Lai. Thank you, Katz and Rashmi. So now we're going to start beginning. So the first team, please get ready for the presentation. And then, we are going to do 15 minutes of presentation. And there will be some time after the presentation or during the presentation for Q&A. So we will try to keep everyone between 15 to 20 minutes in terms of presentation. All right. But, there is flexibility for us to take a little bit more time if required. But in the interest of respecting everyone else's time, let's try to keep 15 minutes for you guys to spend on presenting. Okay. And then you already know the judging criteria. So the judging criteria is based on, how you have done in terms of business value, which is 30%, innovation, which is 20%, technology, which is 20%, design and presentation, which is 15%, and teamwork, which is 15%. So make sure in your presentation hit on all these 5 points so the judges can, score you guys the correct way. And also, make sure, when you're going through it, give the demo. The demo is the most important thing, to see something which is working and running, right? So just good luck to all of you guys, and we are on the top of the hour. So first team can start. And by the way, the judging, the scoring will be only done by Katz, Rashmi, and Lai. So they are the only judges who are, I'm just the coordinator here. So go ahead, first team.
Okay, so I think that'll be me. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. Here we go. I have a video to play, so I'm going to make sure that you guys can hear it as well. Let's see.
And while Zach's doing that, this is Maureen, and I just wanted to introduce the members of our Lean Mean Hackathon Machine team. We've got Richard, and we've got Arun, we've got Raisa, Zach, of course, and we've got Ashna and myself. Just want to make sure everybody knew who was on the team.
All right, and so I'll go ahead and start now. 2020 has been a difficult year. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought upon new, terrifying measures across the world. A once distant news story has now become a recognized pandemic. In our own backyard. Schools have shut down. For many students, this has become a real problem. Millions of families depend on access to government-subsidized meals, and when schools are closed, students may go hungry. Restaurants have closed their doors. They are now looking for business and creative ways to keep operating and to retain their employees. Or else they may be shut down for good. Bus drivers are looking for work with the schools closed. Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub drivers are also suffering slowdowns. So what do we do? Introducing Lunchbox by C2M, where restaurant owners or foodies partner up with drivers or the wheels to connect with schools and feed the kids. It's easy. Download the app and join the cause. Start by searching the dashboard for an open order that matches you. Schools look for the perfect order opened by your local foodie. Review the order and learn about your local foodie to determine if this order is right for you. If so, accept the order. As a foodie, search through orders opened by schools in your district with the right budget for your situation. Learn more about the school and the meal restrictions and requirements to make sure you are a fit. If so, accept the order. Foodies in schools can also create a new order if they cannot find the perfect fit in the dashboard. Once created, all possible match users within your district will receive a notification about your order to start the partnering process. After a match is made, that order will be sent out via text and email to all delivery users in the area with the opportunity to get that order on wheels. Similar to foodies in schools, Wheels can search the dashboard at any time to accept matched orders that fit their needs. At this point, the order is on wheels. After all meals for this order are delivered, the order is closed, and it's on to the next one. Users can also visit their own personal analytics page to view current statuses and statistics for all past and current orders. The world is struggling right now, but that means that more than ever, it's important we come together and make a difference. Lunchbox. Sign up today. So with that, hopefully you guys could hear and audio was all fine with that.
Yep, sounded great.
Cool. So I'd like to pass over to Maureen to kind of talk through where the idea came from and why, and walk through our presentation.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to be able to thank everyone for the opportunity to do this. At the very beginning of the hackathon announcement, we came up with the idea based on our recent news stories that once the schools closed and shut down, they found at an alarming rate that they were having challenges figuring out how they were going to continue to provide meals to children that were dependent upon those meals and being part of the school. Zach, can you move on to the next slide, please? One of the things, this is just one example of the many news stories that were out there, and this was very timely because this was very much the weekend we were doing the design for our application. And this article clearly says that 58% of 29.7 million students, 58% of their daily nutrients come from school meals. Some of them have breakfast, most of them have lunch meals there. And this had completely been disrupted with the coronavirus shutdown of the schools. So our team came up with an idea. Go forward, Zach. You know, to help these challenges. Right now the challenge was children could not receive the food and the lunches, and the administrators and teachers were trying to work through manual processes for food preparation and identifying how they were going to get the meals to the children, and whether it was going to be through parent pickup or through delivery service. They were going to have volunteers deliver. And restaurants, of course, we all know restaurants are closing, as we saw in the video and we've seen everywhere, with the exception of delivery. Restaurants are very much looking for opportunity for revenue, new revenue opportunities. Go ahead, Zach. So introducing Lunchbox. And as we saw in the video, we've got 3 categories of people or users for our platform, for the Lunchbox platform. There's the kids, of course, and the families that are looking to identify how many meals they need and how many meals they get per day. There's the foodies that sign up and say, you know, how many meals they can prepare and what types of meals they can prepare each day and provide to the school. So they're there as a user. Then the third component, of course, is the wheels, the delivery system. You know, right now, a lot of the parents were picking up meals every day, every morning they go and pick them up. Another way is for volunteers, but we're looking at this as a way for people that are in the driving business today, whether it be the school bus drivers or some of the food delivery services, to be able to jump on board and go in and sign up and take deliveries as well. Go ahead, Zach, we can move forward. So it's a place where all three of these constituencies can go to a dashboard and participate in solving this challenge that we have today. So Zach, can you go up one build?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. So what we did is we originally put together a design for the platform. Okay, in the middle here is where what I call the match.com, for lack of a better term, for all of these needs. Okay, you've got the kiddos on the left and the foodies and the restaurants. Okay, that are saying these are the needs that we have, and then you've got to match those with the wheels, the delivery service. Okay, and that's what our platform does, is kind of provides a hub for this activity to take place. The portal for meal ordering, parents can go in and say, this is how many meals we need. It's a very consistent number generally, but they have the opportunity to go in and order and change the orders. And there are obviously set menus and so forth that they can use as well. Same thing for portal for restaurants and grocery stores that provide packaged food or prepackaged meals. They have the ability to go in and say how many meals they can prepare on any given day, and they set the date and so forth. And clearly we'll demo some of this as we go forward. Then on the right-hand side, you can go ahead and do the build as well. So on the right-hand side, we have the wheels, okay? Today, as I said, there's parent pickup and home delivery where they have volunteers, but what we're looking to do is integrate ONE's intelligent vehicle routing solution. Hema was kind enough to walk us through and give us an idea about that opportunity, to be able to actually just generate routing maps for deliveries based on that application. Of course, the school bus drivers right now aren't working, so this is an opportunity for them to maintain employment and get some type of revenue or some type of income by providing these delivery services. And going forward, what we're seeing is an integration to an already existing food delivery service. As we all know, the Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash is a very innovative and very well proven platform for matching food, restaurants, food, and delivery. Okay, so that's an existing platform that we can tag into and partner with, and get them into the loop as well. And on the left-hand side, you'll see the term shelters, because one of the things that we wanted to say is, okay, what happens with this innovative idea once the entire, pray soon, the COVID-19 situation alleviates itself and the kids are back in school? Well, what we said is, on a go-forward basis, we could continue to use a similar platform. The community could use it to match food for like homeless shelters or other shelters, or other types of food pantries. So as you can see today in the news, there are tens of thousands of people that are lining up every week to get food at the food pantries all over the United States. But we're seeing it on the news here locally here in North Texas. So that is one of the things that we did want to take into consideration for going forward, is to make sure that we were building something that wasn't just useful for today, but had a market in the future. Go ahead, Zach. So this is our initial platform, our initial demo that we're going to walk you through, where we match. You can see the request. There's a new request for food. There's a new request for eaters, or in this case, the kids, the children, and then there's a new request for wheels. Okay, so you go in and match those and approve those, and they go ahead and set them on, as the video said. Then the food is on wheels and it's delivered to the children. And then we have dashboards pretty much allowing the school administrators to go in and look every day and say, okay, where are we at? How many orders have we filled? Or even on a weekly basis, we've created a dashboard for them to be able to go in and see at a glance how things are running. So with that, one of the things we wanted to talk to is we were requested to identify kind of who played which roles in the team. This was a fantastic team and is a fantastic team to work with. It's been, as we all know, the last few weeks have been very busy, and we appreciate everybody being able to work in the evenings and on the weekends. So this is kind of how we broke down the dashboard of where people contributed. Everybody kind of contributed everywhere, but there's some particular areas. Okay. Okay, Raisa, or I'm sorry, Zach. I think we're going to go to a demo now. Is that correct?
One interesting note point for this team is that they didn't have any developers. So they built all this stuff without development background, right?
Right.
That's right.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, thank you, Yasser. Yeah, and thanks, Maureen. So, the video itself was meant to really demo the product, but also I want to be able to jump in there for the last. It looks like we only have a couple minutes on that 15, but to kind of add on to the point of Maureen's, this is a workflow-driven application that can be fully driven by roles and notifications, right? So while there are, a lot of interfaces to come in and build orders and accept orders, it's really all about being focused on where the workflow is, where the order is in that flow, and whose opportunity it is to accept that order. All of those things come together into, again, on the video you kind of saw this, but I'm in an admin account here, but essentially it's organized by orders, which depending on your role, if I'm a school, then I'm going to be coming into a place that needs eaters, right? I mean, if we look at the workflow again real quick, that means that basically a foodie or a restaurant had created the order. And so that's kind of, where the process starts for me. I can look at open orders. I can come into something like that and actually review the information of that foodie, right, and restaurant. Review all the information. And if I say, this is a local restaurant I really want to team up with, a lot of this for the restaurant side can be enough as much about meeting some cost and the opportunity while they can't serve inside their actual brick and mortars, as well as for overall brand knowledge and getting out in the community. And then when these times are over, even being able to do things like extra food and things like that for shelters, being able to use a system like that. But like I showed in the video, you would actually accept those orders to move on to the next spot. And again, being driven totally by notifications, everybody that needs to know about that order is notified. Lastly, you can create a new order as well. And I showed that in the video as well. But that way, the reason why we have it set up this way is that no matter who starts the process, it's dynamic in a way that can, either you can come in and pick up an order that's on the way, that's planned for like a week from now, or you can start yourself. So it kind of helps everybody's roles. I started filling out one before to have a part in the beginning, middle, and end in the process of creating a new of an order and feeding the kids. So ultimately, that's about it. We mentioned a dashboard. We have a dashboard that would be available to users that can update. The numbers are kind of small right now because we just have a few orders open in test data. But overall, that's kind of the value. I think we all were passionate about the actual scenario here, and we think that really there's a lot of struggling people today in business and even in this scenario. But these are some of the three that we thought of that really can come together and help each other out in a way that not only business-wise, but obviously feeding children and doing things like that can benefit all three users or people in our communities. So with that, I think that's it. Yasser, should we just move now to Q&A or any questions about the platform itself?
Yeah, so let me ask the judges. Judges, do you guys have any questions for the team on their presentation?
I do have a couple of questions. I can take my time if the others have questions too.
Yeah, you can go ahead, Rashmi, start.
Okay. I really love this. I like this application because we, I've seen this problem firsthand. The schools were trying to figure out how to get the food to the right people. So, in fact, for Plano ISD, they, there's several emails going out. They were trying to figure out how to standardize this, how to scale it through so many schools. So this is an excellent idea. I guess this could also be extended to senior housing. A lot of seniors in certain areas of the cities where they were allowed to go into grocery stores early in the morning to collect, their, I guess this could be extended to some platform like that where, they wouldn't have to make a trip to the grocery store, but be able to match up, their food ordering with the driver and be able to have it delivered. Because I know on Nextdoor, a lot of people were posting this. So how do you feel the extension? How easy would it be to extend this platform for other user groups?
So that was one of the things that we said from the beginning, that okay, this eventually is going to end, but we definitely want the flexibility for it to be extended. The food portal, in terms of the kids, what you would do is just create another user group that would be, in your case, the senior housing situation, where they would have it. The senior housing would be an address, right, a specific location, and they would go in and order food and place the number of meals that they would like. Again, we have the ability to identify allergies and preferences in terms of vegan or non-vegan, that type of thing. But it would just be a matter of creating another form of entry, another user group, another role, I guess is the right word in C2M terms.
Yeah, and I think if I can add to that, Maureen, sorry. Yeah, that's exactly right. And when even thinking through how we kind of brand this and what we call each of the roles, we wanted to keep that in mind that, some here we talk about the school, we talk about it as kids, but we also throughout kept in mind and going back, harping on C2M, these types of things can change. We can change very quickly to where we're not actually focusing on that one user group of school or kids. It could be, to your point, Rashmi, the elderly, or as Maureen said before, the hungry, right? There's shelters downtown in every, local town that there are people struggling to eat. And again, looking at it from a high level view, pandemic or not, if there's people that are struggling to find food or get nutrition, and there's people that are struggling to get the food to feed to others, then what's the problem, right? We've got to figure out a way to connect those folks and make a organize, like you said, Rashmi. It's definitely a difficult thing, but to organize how to help those people help each other.
Right. So it looks like the platform is plug and play, and it helps you change the rules. What about the content of what you're delivering? Could that be changed out of special orders to restaurants to maybe a grocery list from a grocery chain?
Yeah, so I think that's kind of on our business or the actual field level. The data content, like you mentioned, is definitely, I think, on the same answer that Maureen said. We could do those in sort of a profile level. I think that makes a lot of sense. So having, even though we call them eaters, like we kind of show eaters here. Well, eaters may be school, it may be the elderly, it may be shelters. In the same manner, we call it foodies, right? So it's not necessarily a restaurant. And if we expand this out, maybe we can have profiles where if you are a restaurant, you follow these this type of content or the metadata you need to provide. Whereas if you're a grocery store, maybe that totally changes. But the core platform and the build could be used the same way. The workflow could be used the same way. And that over time, of course, would be stabilized through like minor updates and beta testing. But I think ultimately the goal would be to build it for a general use and then portion out, as Maureen said, to more detailed manners. And like you said, is a great example, a grocery store versus a restaurant. Well, they may be looking at different things, whereas a grocery store at the end of the day may have tons of food that just goes to waste. Well, how do they go about, getting in the platform and finding eaters, and I think certainly it's only the beginning of the conversation, really, is what it is, and there's a lot of opportunity there and ways to expand.
What are the verification mechanisms to confirm, first of all, A, that the people logging in are verified attendees of the ISD, and B, that the food was delivered successfully to the right party?
Mhm. So that's a good question as well. We actually have built this on, well, on C2M. So as far as logins and everything on the technical side, that's sound. As far as kind of a sub workflows of those types of questions or validations at the beginning, we don't have it in this demo here, but I do agree that would be something that would need to be added. I think also when it comes to the delivery side of it, ultimately right now it's a manually driven closeout. So that delivery driver would, after delivering, actually jump on their phone and come into the record and say, I've closed it out. But to your point, there's a lot more in there. And what Maureen had mentioned in the presentation is we really didn't want to reinvent the wheel there when there's such a really, there's a really proven distribution channel out there, you know, like Uber Eats or Uber even, or, you know, limo drivers, bus drivers. I mean, these people that already have systems in place that can validate orders, you know, one at a time, take pictures of the, you know, of the package at home or whatever validations need to happen. We certainly could go to that level for this sort of phase one. The idea was to not reinvent that wheel and leave our options open. But yeah, that's definitely, there's definitely ways to continue to add those types of features in.
Right.
Hey, I would put a 1 minute warning now because it's
Okay.
25 minutes in. So any other questions you guys have?
Just very quickly, how does this platform make revenue, and what's the upside in terms of the revenue? What is the kind of revenue you're expecting?
So the initial thought or thinking is that it would be possibly revenue neutral for this is particular for the school districts. Okay, today the school districts have revenue neutral for the schools, I should say. The school districts themselves already have budgets for food and for drivers that are not being used today, right? So we're saying that those costs can be redistributed to, for example, restaurants that need revenue, okay? They can go in and say, some restaurants today maybe just be willing to make very minimal, as long as they can cover their costs, they just want to be able to stay in business and keep their employees on board, right? So they're willing to make meals at cost and distribute them at cost, but they can change that over time. They get to identify what their prices are for their meals. Okay, and then at the school, on the school side, they get to look at what the foodies or what the restaurants have put out there and say, okay, does that fall within our budget per child? You know, there's obviously clearly a certain cost range per child today that they have, and say this is how much we have allocated per child per meal, and make sure that they're falling within those guidelines. On the driver's side, similarly, you know, you have drivers today that are unemployed because the schools aren't working. They're looking for an opportunity to continue to earn a wage, and they can go in and put a rate if they choose to, at which they're willing to make these deliveries. Or in addition to that, as we've said, the bus drivers, the school bus drivers there's a budget for them today already that's not being used. This could be a way to redistribute that budget and use it to deliver meals to children, okay? Then on the other side of that driver, on the wheel side, is of course, as we said, partnering with Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub or any other food delivery service. They already have their cost, their cost methodologies, and that's all done for them already. We would just have to go in and say, okay, is it within the budget that we have allocated from a school standpoint? Now, when you step back and go to a different level and say, okay, what if it's just not the schools, and we apply it to a different scenario? There are numbers or values in each one of those user categories to say, if I'm a foodie, this is how much I'm willing to sell this meal for. If I'm an administrator, this is my cost structure. This is what I'm willing to spend, okay? And if I'm a driver, this is the delivery fee I'm willing to deliver for, okay? So the capabilities are in there. Depending on the scenario and what you set your rates at is where your revenue stream is coming from. Does that make sense?
Okay, so we need to move to the next team.
Okay.
I just want to quickly ask the other two judges if they have any other questions.
Yes, I love this idea and application, but I suggest this application add donation window.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of activity, I think that many people want a donation to the school foods or homeless foods or houses or I think
That's a great
will be.
idea.
That's a great idea.
Amazing.
That's a great idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I love the application, how you guys thought of the different and business partners that you could partner. I because of the time constraint, I will let the team go and I may ask questions later. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Lai, you can go ahead and ask. We have 1 more minute, so it's
Oh no, that's okay.
turning around to half an hour.
Yeah.
You and I were in a hackathon once in Las Vegas, remember?
I know, exactly. Yay. Hey, Zach.
Well,
all right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Great
Thank you,
presentation,
everyone.
excellent concept. So let's switch. So again, can you please say your name again so the judges vote for the right row in the
Sure. Lean Mean Hacking Machine. It's LMHM.
Yeah.
And we are, there's 6 of us on the team.
Thank you,
Maureen, Rich, Zach, Riza, Ashna, and Arun.
Yep. So it's the LMHM which just went through, and right now we're going to get the next one. The next one is who's the next one?
Corona.
How do you say it?
Corona.
Okay, Corona. Okay.
Or like play on Corona is Corona.
It's Corona. Corona.
Okay. Right. Awesome. All right, guys, take it up.
So I can just present, right? Share screen. Okay. So I have a little something to play as well. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So this is something I had to play. Everybody, all of us, that is what we want. It says that is the concept of the logo and the name of our team, because we want Corona to go away and just have our lives be returned to normal. What was it? It was before Corona even existed. So part of our team is existed here, and this is. I'm going to go to the next slide. So what we have built, this is kind of covering the agenda of our presentation. So we will cover the COVID dashboard. It has a self-reporting utility. It has an open essentials utility as well. We have something, a widget which can track flight and case statistics. Our target community is all small businesses and the government and community members, and we'll go more into that. We will talk about our business value, the technology we have used, which is C2M Connect and C2M Workflow. Further on, the team breakdown and how everybody played, what everybody's contribution was, and then we'll go into our future plans. So with that, this is the dashboard, and I'm going to step into the demo. Okay, so this is the dashboard that we built. And right now I have it preset.
I cannot see your screen.
Yeah, I don't think we can see the dashboard. Okay, sorry about that. So this is the dashboard we have built. So it has obviously powered by C2M. We had to put that in there. And the global top widgets will show us global metrics. So as you know, when this whole pandemic started, I have been, or a lot of people I know have been looking at these numbers on a daily basis. So, excuse me. So I have like 25 tabs open, and that is just one browser of mine. So, every day check, how is Dallas County doing? How is Denton County doing? Global metrics and other ones. So I have, what we have is a one-stop shop. So this gives us all global metrics. We can look at, like I personally have family all over the world, so I can look at US, I have other countries, India and elsewhere. So I have to check and see how everybody is doing, because I am concerned. Then we have Texas metrics here. We can also switch to other states, like I think Chris is in New Mexico. So we want to make sure, he will be back with us. So we can check, other states, and, whoever has family elsewhere, they can check and see the data. It shows you like how many, also shows you the delta since the last day, what was the number of new cases that were added. We have also provided county data. So this is currently only supported for Texas counties, but that's in our plan for future to add. Office is in Dallas County, so that is what we preset to. But as we know, everybody right now is in the lockdown. So I am right now in Denton County, which seems to be doing a little better than Dallas County. So so that's good news, Yasser, for you. So I'll still be working on the projects I am. So I noticed this when I was building, looking at this, that the last, from the last day, the numbers are actually better. So we have no new cases. The plus is 0, and since the last day. So that's a good thing. So then this is the metrics. The second thing we have, we can also check by the age bracket. Like if, when this whole thing started, I was concerned, okay, are older people supposed to be more, are more at risk, or are younger people as well? So this provides you a pie chart to show you the age bracket. We also have the gender, confirmed cases by gender, pie chart by that. So this provides you all of that information in one place. And I can now finally close those 25 tabs that I have open in my browser. The second widget that we have is a self-assessment. So we have built a self-report form. And what that basically allows you is you can submit anonymous reporting. So I can go in and I can, anonymously provide information, as if everybody is kind of, there's some people are scared to provide, even if they got were tested positive, or if they have symptoms, people I have seen this, that they are scared. So there is a little bit of fear. What this allows them is to have a self-check of their symptoms and self-reporting if they have been tested positive, or they have been in contact with someone who has tested positive. Luckily, I have not. And then we go through the symptoms. Do you have any of these symptoms? I think everybody has. I had headache a few days back, and I think exhausted. A lot of people can say that this has caused a lot of exhaustion. Then we can select if they are in isolation due to orders from government, or in voluntary or isolation. Whether it's smoke or not smoke, and basically all these features allow us to determine in a vicinity, in a neighborhood, how many people are COVID positive or have symptoms. So once I can submit this anonymous report, then I can go back to the dashboard and I can view it here. So this provides you a heat map of what are the total number of people who have self-reported in my neighborhood. Out of those, how many are infected, or how many have been in close contact with somebody who has been infected, and how many have symptoms. So something, you know, which helps you to know how precautious you should be. You know, how many people around you that you need to be watching out for. So,
Marion, that form you were showing is the C2M workflow you incorporated.
That's correct. This is a C2M workflow. Thanks to our technology, we were able to put this together in about a week's time, and then, you know, with some tweaks while working full time and doing the deliveries for our customers. So yes, this was really powerful, and it was pretty amazing. The second widget which we have incorporated here is the testing locations. So God forbid, you know, if I had, you know, if I was tested positive, or if I had symptoms, you know, there is so much stress and anxiety that everybody has to deal with. So COVID-19, Corona, did not only cause, you know, the health issues to the respiratory system and everything else pretty much, but it has huge impacts on mental health. So now I know, you know, that I have symptoms, or I feel like I have symptoms. I did the self-reporting, so that gives me at least some assurance, but I still want to be sure. So I want to get tested. Now I have to go look, you know, my mind will not be working at that time anyway. So now I have to find out, where can I find testing locations? So this provides an easy way for you know, people, community members, to come in, and like this is me right here. So I can see around me how many testing center locations are there, what is the nearest one. I can quickly, you know, call them, you know, look for details, or I can find out, take an appointment, and I can go and get tested. So I don't have to have delay and search for, you know, try to research where testing locations are available, because personally I had trouble finding that information online easily. So that's another value that we provide. So this is helping community members get some sort of self-reporting, self-assessment, and helping them find a testing center when they do have the need. We have, you know, we built this, a lot of thought was put into building this dashboard, and this is a pure teamwork. So this, every widget had some contribution from everyone. So this one at the bottom, I think this was Ming's idea. So we have to track the flight. It's a flight tracker. So this will provide the government in future, if they get adoption, or airlines, where they can track if there was a flight, you know, that had a positive COVID patient, you know, and somebody, I know Texas governor announced that non-essential travel can be resumed, I think from 24th or something of that sort. So this will provide a safe way where community members can feel more comfortable to travel if they can access that there, you know, in a particular flight, there isn't any or wasn't any COVID positive patient. So this allows airlines to input their data and accurate data, and you know, it has to be mandated by the government. But as a user, I can also go in and I can look for, if I recently traveled on a flight and I'm scared, you know, I want to be sure I don't need testing or anything. So I will go here, look for the appropriate flight number, search for the flight, and then I can say, okay, I was on this flight, so was that, anything, any positive COVID cases on this flight, so I can check the timing and so on and so forth. So this allows a lot of flexibility. And I will, talk more on the value of these dashboards after I finish the demo. So the last one, what we have. So every one of us is in lockdown, mostly, and we are still working. Thankfully, we are still working and have a means to earn a living. But it is still having deliveries and everything going on, along with this additional stress that the pandemic has caused. We need to live our daily life. And we have to learn new ways, like Rashmi also pointed out earlier. So everybody has to learn new ways of living during this pandemic and living their daily lives and still performing. And so if I'm working, I'm kind of wrapping up like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and then that's my usual hours, then I would want to go have a grocery run. But a lot of times what happened is the grocery stores were closed. They were closed earlier, not the usual time that they used to close. So then, there could be times if I don't have the right, stocked up on the right stuff, then I would not be able to make dinner. It's as a simple essential of life. So what this widget allows you to is allows you to check the stores that are open. It has several categories. Could be grocery stores, pharmacy, gas stations, restaurants, which is a lot of common businesses that we need to, as consumer, go visit on a day-to-day basis. It also allows small business owners to add their business on our platform. So they can go use this form, and fill out their name, their hours of operation, because not only they have to, comply with the government rules during this pandemic, which is also causing a lot of stress. Now they don't have to find out ways to advertise, or have traffic coming in, not like, separately, not at one time, but some places have early hours for immunocompromised, elderly or and so on. But there's no one place where you can find all this information. So this allows them to enter their business and business hours, and we show them on the dashboard. Again, this little icon is my location. So I can look at what is the closest grocery store that is open, and I can, I don't have to spend half an hour searching and then not have enough time by the time they may already be closed. I can just quickly go to our dashboard here and click on this one. Okay, this is open. It has the hours, and I can make a trip or decide my itinerary. If I'm making multiple stops, I can also do the street view. If there's a person who's bad with directions, as bad as me, so I can check, make sure I have the right location and I'm on the right place. This is probably not the right location, but yeah. So that is our dashboard. Now you can search by categories here. You can have the flight search over here. Searching capability, we have a global search, which allows you to enter a zip code, and based on the zip code, you can also find the testing locations, in your neighborhood, how many people have symptoms. You can see the grocery store, so it filters like all of these widgets based on the zip code. So it provides, there was no one place where all of this information was accessible during when I was looking for it. So that was the motivation to build this to help community. And to help people be able to live their normal lives and not have to deal with some issues which can be resolved by technology. And I will go back to this slide.
So Maureen, you are around 18 minutes right now. So I would say use a couple of minutes to wrap up and then let people be asking questions,
Okay, sure.
We want to give judges time to ask questions because last time it was, and also have your team shout out so we can see who all were part of the team. We didn't do it with Zach, but after your presentation, we'll do that quickly with Zach also so the judges can see the people who are on the team. So
sure. So, that was the demo. So this is kind of showing you the business and services portal, which we built, Open Essentials. This is the self-check form and the value it provides. So we can be happy, somebody who's self-checking can be as happy as this girl is after they found out they don't have symptoms. And the business value, this provides a platform to help local businesses in their survival. This provides a central location to local community members to access metrics, global, state and country, current metrics, anonymous symptom self-reporting, approximate cases in their neighborhood, testing center locations, Open Essentials. And this point I want to highlight that we chose a color scheme to reduce the stress levels. We went with the cool colors, blue and green, because we don't want to see a lot of red, and every day we see a lot of alarming colors and news. So that's why we chose that. And in future, we could expand to help communities worldwide. Right now, no centralized place to track data, state data other than US. It could also help with coexistence with the virus now that, we are trying to, the governor of Texas has announced and is trying to reopen Texas, to help with the economy. But at the same time, we have to be careful. So this could help us. We do want to reach out to government or airlines potentially to get accurate data for flight tracking. This could reduce spread of the disease and make community members feel safer if they need to travel, and would also help airlines to increase their revenue. If more people are traveling safely, then they can survive as well. Later on, for the self-reporting for the business Open Essentials, we plan to expand to other categories. This is our team breakdown, and I was leading this. The logo for Corona was my concept. We listed like all the widgets concepts, and Ajay was doing he created those forms in workflow. A lot of hard work was put in by everyone. So this is a true team effort. We have Khurshid, Yili, and finally, these are big data and, experts, and he wrote a program to get data from public data sources, a lot of data ingestion. And then finally, we have Ming, our designer, and she helped with designing the presentation. We've all been working very, very, very hard. So, so we finally have this dashboard, and hopefully we can provide value and help the communities. And
all right, thanks, Maureen. So you did a good job of putting everyone's picture so we can see it. So, and obviously all of them are on the video chat as well. So judges, if you guys want to ask questions, we have approximately now like 8 minutes of time remaining for. And when the judges ask questions, if you guys can shorten your answers so that we are able to get a maximum number of questions in.
Sure.
Anybody wants to start?
Yes, hi, this is Lai. Great job, guys. This is exactly what everybody is looking for. And I do have a couple questions. The data ingestion, I assume that you can ingest not not only the current information, but also historical, like, for example, I want to see the people around me, how many of those are vulnerable, for example, elderly, and maybe the nursing home, like in Kirkland, we have a nursing home that started to have problems. We didn't even know that. So no, I assume that that can be overlay, right, in your solution here, so that people like me can be proactively understand what's around me, especially the vulnerable population.
Yes, if the more self-reporting we get, because they are, we are asking if you have been diagnosed with any of the preconditions. So that is one of the questions. So we can have that data for around you if that's.
Yeah. I am talking about beyond the self entering the information. I'm talking about there's already population information in the survey, and for each city, they have the age, information, so you can overlay those, right? So that you'll
like, I think you're talking about the demographic data, right? So
that's right, exactly, the demographic data, not the people who enter their information to self-report the issues. So I'm sure that is very easy.
Yes, certainly. If we are able to access that, we can ingest that data via API, or we can add, another tile or category showing the demographics in the same self-assessment map. We can have demographics showing up as well.
Yeah. And then the other thing I want to make a comment was, love the widget that you guys created for the flight airlines information. I would like to see the airport information too. Like, that has to be some kind of testing in the airport, and it would be good to have that information integrated. But great job.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In future, we plan to include more transportation, like public transportation, like buses, trains, metros, darts, and everything. So we started with flight, but eventually we'll add more to that.
I love that. Thank you.
This is great, guys. Rashmi, Katz, any questions from you guys?
I do have a couple of questions, but does Katz have a question? You can go first.
Please.
Should I go ahead?
Yeah, please.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Marine and team, very good job. I think that you're exactly right. I mean, that's what I've been doing. I've been like looking at so many charts and stuff, and especially because I have family who were traveling, and I have family who's been stranded. So just trying to figure out where do they need to go, how, where, so it's just been trying to collect data from everywhere. So I love this dashboard that's aggregating all this information. Is this data real? Like your pie charts, are you going into WHO databases? Like where is this real data? That's my question.
So that was one thing I wanted to cover. Can you see the Newsbreak site that I'm sharing?
No, we can only see your presentation.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, all the metrics and the data is real data, and some of our widgets do show the data coming from the forms which we have given to the community members to fill in. So it's kind of makes this is our major source of the metrics that we are showing on the dashboard.
Right. So like I'm showing the Newsbreak data, I wanted to, this is the actual data. So the cases, number of cases, it's going to be the exact same. And we make sure that that is accurate and there is no delay in the data that is coming on this dashboard.
So this pie chart that you have confirmed cases by age, which one of these is it showing? Is it the global?
So the pie chart, yes. So that one is linked to the self-reporting. So currently, because there is only predictions on the age bracket, like probabilities. So there is no actual hard, data provided for that. So we are using the self-reporting in here, for now for the age, based on right now it's searched on the gender. Yeah, if that answers your question.
I guess one other thing that would help, especially a platform like this, which, we wish the our CDC or the WHO website was like this. It's the vector mapping of how the virus spread. An animation of using the data, past data going through, as well as if you can make certain, you can do that making certain correlations between the data.
That's a great idea, Rashmi. Actually, that's where the AI can come in, right? To show the trend of how it can expand, right, or how it can infect the communities.
Right. Any platform like this, I think, if you have the correlation piece where you can tie in the causality, the morbidity, and the data and show certain trends, I guess it's a real bang for the buck. I mean, this would be a really, really good idea.
Yeah, so now we have data and we are getting the data from like different sources, right? So we are already collecting all the data from different like websites like WHO and all those reportings, right? So once we get all the data, we can easily populate all those things. So because of this lack of time, right, we have done all these things, and we highlighted the self-reporting as well because that helps the community. Let's say we are living in the community, right? In the same community, if I don't know like who is infected or who is actually feeling the symptoms, right? So if I have the idea who is actually feeling the symptoms, so I can be precautious and I can help people like for like groceries or like something like that to be able to, so they can get some help, and I can feel more comfortable that I'm living accordingly and I have the data information.
But didn't the self-reporting actually create duplication from the data that provided?
Those are two different things. Self-reporting is actually when you are having the symptoms or something you are reporting. It's not necessarily that you are tested actually, but you are just feeling the symptoms and you are waiting for like testing, right? And that's why the idea is testing locations idea is here, where you can go and search. If you basically feel uncomfortable, then you can find the testing location and you can get tested, and then you can be confirmed. And as soon as you confirm, government will get the data and they can input the data and we can show that into the graphs here.
So if for the data that you collected, I guess you must have gone to different places. Have you seen that there's a difference in the data by
yeah, there are a lot of differences in like different data sources, like so that because data is really, really random, right? So we are using the data and then combining all those data together to make it accurate. But if you see like different websites, like if you see like there is a one popular data set called John Hopkins. If you see the John Hopkins data set, right? And other data sets, like if you go on like, let's say Newsbreak. So Newsbreak they are actually also aggregating. There are several steps doing like their own work to do it accurate. We did the same thing. We collected the data from different sources, right? And then we aggregated those things to make it like actually accurate. But if you can still see some difference in like different websites, because some people just updating the data every day or something, some updating like every hour or something. So it's like depends on like how they collect the data and how frequently they are updating on the dashboard. That's
all right, Khushid, in the interest of time, you guys, thank you, did a great job. I think you guys need to seriously think of applying some of the OneTech AI engine onto this. To do the prediction, which Rashmi gave a very good insight in, like the
deviation in the numbers. If you could put something towards the probability of the correctness of that data, like basically the confidence level in the data, just like what you have in your AI.
That's one part we should have built, but because of lack of time, we haven't.
Yeah, we were going to do an AI side, but we decided we don't have enough time for it. But,
okay, all right, guys. Thank you very much.
One thing, is that okay?
Yes, Katz, please go ahead.
Yes, this is a great job. That site is exactly I want to see every morning. But one thing, if network operator like AT&T allowed to use the customers' GPS data, we can see that where is a crowded real time, and so we shouldn't go there, or
Oh,
yeah. No, that's a great idea, because if the network allows it, then you can actually see where somebody has been who had an infection.
Yeah, actually, there's a third party. They are tracking people using the application that they use. So not from us, but from the application providers.
Find the flashlight apps, because they are the ones who are collecting the data, even though
yes.
Aware of it. Or you can launch your own app and see if there's a third-party app, you can ask them for the data as long as people turn on the location sharing.
Right. That was also one thing we had thought about, but then there may be some restrictions, like if somebody has their data turned off or somebody's not sharing their location, then it could run into problems. So.
All right. If judges don't have anything else, then we'll move to the next one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. So who's the next team? By the way, before we go, say your name again. Go
Rona.
Rona. Judges, please select that row in the scoring spreadsheet for that, please. And now we'll go to the next one. Which team is next?
Team Exotic. Hey, everybody, this is Team Exotic here. Just want to say disclaimer, our name is not inspired by any top performing Netflix show at the moment. It's just we have a lot of exotic members in our team. So our team is comprised of, we have Faizan, we have Michael, and we also have Yuha, or Ryan, as we call him. And let me go ahead and share my screen here. Oh, I think, Maureen, you have to stop sharing yours. There we go. Perfect.
So you're going to share your video as well while you're talking through your presentation?
Well, in our video that we submitted to the presentation package, it was just us going over slide, but we're just going to do it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We're still going to keep everything under 15 minutes. The agenda, the first half of it is we're going to talk about the front end business values, Michael and I, and the last half of the 15 minutes, we're just going to go to the developers, talk about the technology and demoing it.
Take it away.
So, yeah, thank you everybody for your time. I'd just like to present to you our fictional company, Safe Journey, where we understand that for travelers and vacation enthusiasts, safe traveling matters, even at your destination. So what are some of the challenges that Safe Journey is solving? As we all know, COVID-19 has updated all of our viewpoints and value on sanitation, not only for the now to short term, but for the long term and for years to come. Everyone has been affected by this pandemic in some way, and everyone now values sanitation, especially if it's to leave your safe haven, the home. So destinations around the world have different risks. We know that for COVID-19, it affects different parts of the world differently. This is a problem because it prompts us to be more aware of the different risks of places we want to travel to. Where you are heading may not be where you end up. Say you are planning a trip 2 months in advance, or 6 months in advance, or even a week in advance. The state of COVID-19 infection may very well be different 2 days from today, let alone 2 months. This is a problem because how do you know if the destination you are booking is safe by the time that you've arrived at your Airbnb or your hotel at that location? So no easy way exists for travelers to consider health hazards. Sure, you can Google COVID-19 cases in a particular location, and you can have that page refreshing every day leading up to your departure. But the problem is obvious here. That's not a reasonable thing to do, and it wouldn't be a seamless process for the purpose of booking a safe trip. People now moving forward will be looking for a validated process of reviewing a destination's health hazards. So our solution, a mobile and web platform that uses MicroAI technology to detect abnormal infection rate of COVID-19 for the traveler's destination. So why is this important? Users can use our proprietary AI technology to be informed of a location's health situation. Is this destination showing regular or average rate of infection? Or is this destination exhibiting an abnormal rate of infection? This means that there is an outbreak on an intensity level that should alarm users not to go to that location in the near future. One of the coming features we have to our platform is that we are able to suggest an alternative location that is near your chosen destination. And this alternative route exhibits a safer rate of infection. This is easy to do since we've already figured out the hard part of calculating the abnormality. All we would need is a little bit more development time. And lastly, we are able to allow users to book a stay with a third-party vendor like Airbnb. This closes the loop and makes it one seamless process for a user to pick a safe destination. They can then go book their stay with a potential third-party partner, and that also ties into the revenue, the revenue model. The screenshots below are some mock-ups to show you a couple things. Mainly that we have created a safe score that takes into account the historical data of the location's infection rate, and using our proprietary AI technology to see if that location's infection rate is growing abnormally or not. Also, we can show you other non-AI-like data, like the location's number of infected cases, death cases, and even prediction of death and infected cases. Next, market validation. I'm gonna hand this off to Michael.
Yes. So thought behind, where this idea originated from is really seeing a shift within consumer behavior, specifically in the travel industry. Now, obviously, with everything at a halt during the current pandemic, it's going to have a long-term effect on permanent behavior and how consumers consider and plan their trips. One of the biggest ones right now is a lot of the current third-party vendors are noticing a shift in trip booking timelines, going from 1 to 2 months out to 1 to 2 days out, and also consumers Googling and considering information that they hadn't considered in the past, things around health risks, sanitation, security risks, and so on. So when going through and researching sort of what the travel market looks like and how current players in that market are adapting, some statistics we came up on was, TripAdvisor currently is used by 463 million travelers per month, with hotel booking and traveling being its largest segment across its services. It's active in 49 markets globally, and it grew 5% between 2016 to 2019. Now, with the COVID-19 pandemic currently going on, they're prioritizing other segments that are allowing them to bring in these factors around, health risks and the size of the crowds and population traffic and trends. And same thing for Airbnb. So prior to the coronavirus, more than 2 million reservations were made per night through Airbnb with 150 million plus users. And since 2017, there's been a 120% increase in the number of senior hosts over 60, which is where, that most at-risk population comes from. And that's when they're put, their lives are put on the line. And the fastest growing Airbnb hosts are considered in that senior age range. So the safe journey opportunity here really is eliminating those health uncertainties during your travel destinations and promoting that risk aversion. And the travel bookings will increase as the COVID-19 pandemic subsides and users are starting to get reassured. And so getting ahead of those permanent shifts in the behavior allows for that opportunity to capitalize and stand out within the travel industry.
So what's next? This isn't the full scope of SafeScore's functionality. SafeScore can take in data sets from other diseases. It's not just COVID-19, it could be anything else. SafeScore accuracy improvement. We can take into account the destination's current rank out of total world ranks. And we can also do suggestions to nearby locations with better safe scores. And then Michael is going to talk about other applications on how we can apply SafeScore technology.
Yeah, so applying SafeScore technology into a similar concept, when you're traveling and you're not familiar with the area, especially if you're out of the country, you don't know exactly where the hospitals are located. There's no real easy way of knowing where those hospital hotspots per se are. And so applying our technology to expand on that and being able to mark where these hospital hotspots are and where there's an abnormal growth rate of infections. And that on one end, provides information to the consumer, but also allows for hospitals to be able to reallocate medical equipment effectively and timely, as well as tracking and communicating inventory stock on essential items with, grocery store locations. That's not just a problem currently going on. That's going to be only now with COVID-19, but when you're traveling, abroad and you're trying to find a certain, a certain good, and you're not familiar with the stores, this would allow you to be able to know which stores have what in stock, and it'll all be able to be processed in real time. And then as well, with the growing consideration of pets and a lot more people owning pets nowadays and having, that more care given into them, detecting pet health abnormalities the same way that we do with humans through a collar with sensors connected to an app that would also track different health variables around their temperature, anxiety, allergies, stress levels, and so on.
All right, for the last half, I'm gonna pass this off to our dev team to talk about the demo and go into a little bit more detail about the technology. Gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen now, and Ryan, you can start sharing yours.
Okay, so guys, this is our the microwave service here. So when so everyone just visits this website. The map will detect your locations. So right now I'm living here. So your locations, he will detect which one is your nearest case for the COVID-19. So in my case, the nearest case is the Dallas County. So right now, it will give me some information for the distance for your locations and the county. And right now, today's the Dallas County, how much cases in here and how much the death here. And and so if we want to visit another, to go to another county and to see the result of that, so we can type like the Colleen here and choose the Texas. And if we start your journey, and the MicroAI will calculate the results, the predictions, and the safe score, index your journey destinations. So when I start here, so you can see my background here. This is my back end. I install these whole things in the Raspberry Pi, and so right now the MicroAI right now is only choose in these moments MicroAI use the two channels to determine the accuracy here. And so you can see right now it start collecting the data here, and he will train it and start the AI engine, and then he will give the result back. And right now, if we in the future we have to approve the accuracy, so we can add in some channel. It's not only about the COVID-19. Probably we can add in some crime number and use another like the other Ds to detect this county is safe or not. And and if we validate this one, so it's done. So the website will say, oh, this right now is the safe county is the 90%, and showing your infection rate, how many what is the label for that. And then if you want to see this is score, so you can this depends on that. So if we want to improve that score, we have some like the other index to validate this model is correct. So like we have the other things is the top 10 dangerous things. This top 10 dangerous TCR is the total confirmed rank. So we calculate by the populations things and give the rank of the county among all of the United States. And so we focus on the total death rank because I thought the more tests, probably we have the more confirmed, but the death number is more convincible to say the dangerous things. So I focus on the top total death rank and see what is the dangerous things. So that's the things we can use this one to validate the MicroAI things to improve its performance, and to do in the future we can do the more and more channels that can improve the accuracy for the results. Yes, that's my demo.
So so just to add to Ryan's demo, so he's using MicroAI, which is a unsupervised learning algorithm built by the One Tech team, and this basically takes the data and creates you know, the future trends as well as provides insights into what is going on right now. So go on, guys.
Okay, Ryan, is that everything you wanted to show?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, guys, so that pretty much concludes our technology and demo showing. So judges, if you guys have any questions, please feel free.
Lai, Rashmi?
Yeah, well, I'll let the other judge go first. I have a couple of questions only. So.
I guess this is what I was talking about when we were talking to the previous team. This is really well done. I think this is where there is a lot of correlation how you train that data, and very happy to see the MicroAI being used in the way that it's being deployed. I guess I just probably have just a suggestion. You know, there could be ways to improve the SAFE score by adding certain, you know, third-party services or something like that. You know, if that helps people feel more comfortable going to maybe an Airbnb location or something like that, right? So there are, for example, cleaning companies that specialize in crime scene cleanups. You know, there could be ways to authorize third-party services to be deployed to improve your SAFE score.
Yeah.
But this is nicely done.
That's what we want to edit this, but we need more time to use that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this a lot. This is really good.
Yeah, thank you a lot for that feedback, Rashmi. Yeah, our SAFE score is just a number, right? That we came up with. The algorithm can be used. We can take in data from other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be good to see if the customer or the traveler can customize that, how you guys can correlate those information to and do the prediction. Like, for example, does it based on other feedback from the previous visitors? And so the number of positive feedback, and it may change the score accordingly, or maybe I want to have a different weight for different scoring system. For example, I may lean on more previous visits for the last 2 weeks, you know, because I'm going to go there last 2 weeks. I'll put more weight on the last 2 weeks of the data. So it'll be good to see if that can be customized too.
Yeah.
That's a very good idea. The other thing, I guess, would be if you give a checklist of appropriate actions that a traveler could take to improve the SAFE score. And I think that can reinforce the habits of social distancing, masks, and things like that. You know, just helping the general, I guess, just helping probably CDC to, you know, make sure that people are continuing to use. This could actually be used as a tool that promotes safe travel.
Yeah, Rashmi, that's very exciting. That's actually one of the things we wanted to implement. Just didn't have enough time for one of the functionalities to be suggestions on, hey, there's a location near you that exhibits a safer, safe score where there's a more average infection rate that's not, totally high or abnormal that you can go to instead of. So that's
right.
good.
I know. I love the branding, safe journey and safe score.
Yeah. I think, you can also extend the concept of safe score to apply to actual locations. So if I'm going to Kroger in this location versus Kroger in that, which one has a better safe score? So
that
you can actually...
we talked about that. That was one of our first things. There are very, very many applications of this, and this is just one of the ones we wanted to demo, was about the journey, but we could just talk.
I guess the upside to revenue, I guess, is probably in the travel industry, which has been hit majorly right now, right? And it's and it's probably not going to improve, but there are a lot of people employed in this industry that this could wreak havoc if people don't start traveling soon.
I agree.
Katz, do you have any questions? Lai, any more questions?
No, but this is a very good idea for the prediction using AI. So yeah, if we need improve this concept, yeah, that will be the great application. Yeah, I think this is a good idea.
Thank you.
Thank you, team. So,
hey, yes, I'm not a judge, but I have a question for Ryan. Can I take you?
Yeah, please ask. Please go ahead and ask.
Yeah, this application is a huge surprise because I did not know they are doing this project. But from viewpoint of user, I mean, can you tell me, for example, if I want to go shopping tonight, can you tell me is Kroger safer than Walmart, or which one is the best place to go?
Yeah, that's a better idea. But the hard thing is the data collections. I don't have this data, but if we have this data, the MicroAI will give the prediction and the results.
Okay, I think right now your apps can tell me, it looks like maybe Seattle is safer than New York or something like that. However, I think from personal viewpoint, I want to know Kroger or Costco or Whole Foods, which one is better, which one is safer, So yeah, it's great app, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, team. Thank you, great effort. So now we move to the next team. Before we move to the next team, say your name again, team.
Yeah, we are Team Exotic.
Team Exotic. So judges, please look at the row for Team Exotic to vote. All right, so we move to the next team. Which team is coming up now?
Yep, so we are COVID 365. And hello, everyone. I'm Chris Catterton. If I can ask my team just to start sharing their webcams. I'm Chris Catterton. I make up one of the team members of COVID 365. We have created a platform that's relevant for this COVID-19 time, along with way down the line once we've all completely, hopefully, forgotten about this crazy situation that we're in today. So a lot of business value generating from what we've created here, and hopefully that comes across in our presentation and demo. I'm going to start off with a quick video that one of our team members, Zach Morsbach, has created. And after that, we'll jump into some slides and then go into a live demonstration.
Hey everybody, Zach with One Tech here. I just wanted to take a quick minute and show you this new platform we deployed that's going to help you keep your organization productive no matter where your team members sit. COVID-19 has changed the way we do business, and right now across the globe, our remote workforce is larger than it's ever been. So we developed tools to help you manage that more effectively and in ways you've never been able to do before, including a new artificial intelligence-based risk score predictive analysis. So here on the first page is a company overview that just gives you all the basic high-level metrics that you might need at a glance. From there, you can dive deeper into the projects, find out what's going well, find out what might need help. And then you can also get personalized insights into each of your team members, including things like availability, feeds from whatever their workflow might include. We also have the proprietary OneTech Connect Cube that will help provide inputs into their workflow throughout the day. And then over here is the artificial intelligence-driven health risk score analysis that's going to take a multitude of factors and provide a predictive risk score for the health and safety of your workers. So we'd love to tell you more. Shoot an email to sales@onetech.ai, and Chris and I will jump on the phone with you. Thanks.
So that's some good sales enablement material that's been created by Zach. And we'll jump into our presentation here. We have an awesome team. What we've been able to do over the last 2 weeks is really phenomenal. So we, as you guys saw, we've created a platform for monitoring the productivity of a remote workforce as it's more relevant than ever. And we believe that, moving forward, there's probably going to be a larger population of remote workers. So this is certainly relevant. And not only the productivity, but what their risk level is. So right now we're looking at the risk level of, them contracting COVID-19, but down the line, this could look at other health risk factors. It could look at, maybe they're climbing towers. And so we need to look at, what's the risk factor related to that, or maybe it's just what their productivity, are they meeting their goals? And if they're not meeting their goals, what's the risk factor of them, not able to perform at the company? So we'll go into that in more detail. I want to overview the team. Again, they've been awesome. We have Arthur, who has done phenomenal work with inside of C2M, created all of the data feeds. We've worked with C2M's connectivity manager. We have a workflow as part of this. Obviously, we have dashboards. Arthur's been the mastermind behind that. Melissa has done all of the design work, those sharp-looking dashboards that you saw, and you'll see more of here momentarily. That was all of her work, so kudos to Melissa. Levi has done a great job with some hardware that we've brought into our solution, so we'll take a look at that momentarily. Abraham has created a really, really powerful AI-driven risk score, all based on OneTech's MicroAI technology. We'll get a deep dive of that from Abraham later on in this presentation. I'm Chris Catterton. I'm really just going through this presentation and overviewing what the team has really put together here. And Zach did a really good job putting together that Vidyard presentation that we just saw. So we came up with this really by looking at the problem, right? So COVID-19 has completely changed how we've worked. We're now working remotely. This is going to have a long-term effect on how the world works overall. There's estimates that 50% of the workforce that wasn't working from home previously is now going to be working remotely, just due to the cost benefit savings of real estate and whatnot. So managers need more insight to the productivity and the health of their greatest assets, which are the people of the company. So our solution combines data from commonly used tools from these teams. So think of Google Analytics, HubSpot, Sembla, GitHub, along with our proprietary Cube Connect hardware to track, the productivity, the safety, and performance of these employees. So what this does, creates a lot of business value around creating more visibility into the remote workforce. We're able to gain easier collaboration between teams, and I'll show you how we do that here whenever we get to the Connect Cube. And we have a single pane view into the company operations, so I don't need to jump from report to report that maybe are being manually created, or I need to go into different systems to look at the KPIs. We pull it all into a single pane glass view for just quick, pull it up on your mobile device if you want to, real-time insights. So how we do this is we have APIs connecting to Google Analytics, HubSpot, Sembla, and GitHub. That's pulling in through APIs, the KPIs that are relevant for the organization. We have a hardware product called Cube Connect. I have a slide that overviews this, and we'll look at it in more detail. But basically, it allows me to tell people when I'm working, when I'm on call, maybe not working, not in front of my computer, but if you need to call me, I'm around. And then, a do not disturb mode, right? I'm sleeping, I'm resting, I'm having dinner with my family, whatever it may be. I'm able to quickly set those statuses on this cube and also start, having communications and whatnot through this cube. And again, we'll go in more detail there. And really the powerhouse behind this is MicroAI. So again, Abraham has been able to aggregate data from Johns Hopkins and a lot of different other sources to look at what the risk score is for COVID-19. And again, we'll further this looking at other risk factors after, COVID-19 starts to die down. So we aggregate all of this into C2M through the API management gateway, through the analytics tool, pipe it into the dashboards to output worker productivity metrics through the visualization. So let's talk about that piece of hardware. So up top, this is simply just a beta 3D printed version that we'd like to see come to real life. Right now, we're using a Raspberry Pi 3 with a SenseHat. So the yellow is whenever I'm on call, right? And that's whenever I'm not necessarily in front of my computer working, but call me, I'll pick up the phone and we'll start working. Blue is active. That means I'm currently working on projects, I'm on meetings, I'm around, so I'm actively working. We strategically chose blue for the light output because it, based on some research we did, that's what actually drives productivity, creativity, and energy for just through visual senses. So this Cube Connect is your dedicated work device, right? So everyone has one of these on their desk, they carry it around with them, and I can click a button to say, hey, I'm active, I'm on call, kind of not necessarily active, but around, or I'm away, or just not, do not disturb. We would like the ability to have voice command request where I could say, hey, Cube, call Zach Morsbach, right? And I start calling and having a conversation with them. So I can start logging these internal calls that I'm having to track metrics on these as well. I could have this set up in a meeting and I could use it to record the meeting, right? And then take this voice to text. So I have some notes and minutes of that meeting that I just held. And then I can also start integrating sensors. So let's say that they're not necessarily sitting behind a desk at their home working, but they may be climbing cell towers and I need to watch for fall risk, right? So let's tie into an accelerometer. And if we detect that there may have been a fall, let's trigger a workflow to maybe we dispatch someone out there to check on them or give them a phone call, whatever it may be. And also distance traveled. So I catch myself quite often sitting in front of my computer screen for hours and hours and hours, and I never stand up. So we need to stay fit one way or another. Maybe we have some sort of reminder, hey, stand up, you haven't, go walk around, you haven't moved a lot recently. So simply just aggregating in those sensor data to keep us healthy as we have this remote work situation.
We like to think of this as like a portable, secure, enterprise-focused, AI-driven personal assistant. So like if you think about the consumer products, Alexa, Siri, things like that, this would be similar in function, with the exception that it would be, enterprise-focused, and then similar to the Alexas of the world, it can grow in its functionality. If you bought an Alexa several years back, it had, a few things it could do. Over the years, it enables new skills, and this would work the same way.
Absolutely. So our AI generated risk score. So we've seen this in a couple previous presentations. This is one aspect of what we've created here. We gather the worker geographic coordinates, right? So we pull in latitude and longitude from our remote workers, and we crawl Johns Hopkins data quite often, multiple times a day, to pull in the data from each county around the United States, and then also countries around the globe. So we calculate our risk score based on confirmed number of cases, based on the nearest 6 counties. So we draw a 100-mile radius around where the worker is, and the closest 6 counties, we pull in data. If there are not 6 counties, then we disregard the 6th and just pull in 5 or 4, or whatever that number may be. We also calculate what the slope or the increase rate of those confirmed cases are. So over here in the top right, I have a comparison of New York. So this is New York City in the red. This is Dallas County. And you can see early days, you know, our slopes were quite similar, but Dallas started declining much sooner than New York. So risk level for New York City would be much higher than Dallas County. And then to this, people within inside the same county would get different scores based on their location. So if you're in the northwest quadrant of Dallas County, you may pull in data from Wise instead of Kaufman County, as we can see down here. So this person is kind of central Dallas County. They have Kaufman coming in. If they were more northwest, we may get data from Wise. Again, we'll go in more detail on this momentarily. Lastly is company management. This is what's really driving that business value. We have the company overview, single snapshot, where my people are, who's active, how are my projects going, KPIs from HubSpot, Google Analytics, GitHub, Assembla, all coming into the metrics here in the top right quadrant. Then time logs, so I can see, you know, when people are clocking in, when they're clocking out, you know, what their beginning of day and end of day statuses are, and what roadblocks do they have. I, as a manager, as a director, how can I help this person overcome those roadblocks and start becoming productive again? So I'd like to switch over to our live presentation and start looking at these dashboards. So this is created in C2M. Again, I have a map of my people here. Blue is active, orange or yellow here is on call, and this gray is simply inactive. So I have KPIs of how many are active, inactive, etc. I can do a search and find a specific person. Over here in the top right, as I mentioned before, so our sales organization here at OneTech runs in HubSpot, so I can quickly see for the week how many calls have been made, how many emails have been conducted, how many leads do we have in the pipeline, and what our revenue is. And again, some of these numbers may not be completely true. Marketing, so I have some Google Analytics numbers coming in as far as number of active campaigns, how many partners do we have in the queue, how many active partners do we have sending in leads. As far as dev goes, all running from GitHub, you know, what type of projects are people committing code pushes on? So is it product features, is it client projects, is it architectural fixes or enhancements, and then overall, how many commits do we have? Then as far as Assembla, that's where we track our tickets. So how many sub 1, 0, that's always a good thing. Sub 2s, we have 7 we're working through, 17 sub 3s, 18 sub 4s. So down here, active projects, I have a list of projects, their names, what the status is. You know, are we on track, are we at risk, are we completely off track? Looks like we need to pick up on our fun intern project for this summer. And then we have, you know, how far we've progressed through this, what the estimated start and end dates are, how high the priority is, and then who's actually managing this, right? So I have these simple icons, and I could drill down into those people to get a more granular look, and we'll do that momentarily. And then a time log. When are people logging in and logging out, right? So, you know, Arthur started at 9, finished at 7, and we can calculate those number of hours to put in each day. So then if we dive into one of these particular projects, right now I'll look at MicroAI overview. So I have a Gantt chart just showing each level of activity, how we're progressing through that. Over here in the top right, just a simple overview of the project. So if I have someone new coming on board, I can send them to this view. They can quickly understand who's working on it, what's the project about, and what are my particular activities that I need to be paying attention to. And then down here, again, I can list down those individual team members that are inputting, you know, effort to this particular project. So let's check out Levi here. So if we go into Levi's dashboard, we'll pull that up, and we actually have some live data coming in from Levi. So I'll put this.
See the Raspberry Pi?
Yeah, absolutely. So. Okay. And if anyone else on the team, I cannot see the Raspberry Pi. But,
oh, you cannot?
Yeah, no,
it's yeah, good.
Yeah, we can see it. We can see it. This is looking good. Yeah.
Yep, wonderful. So I have live data sending in from Levi's Cube Connect, right? So this is that little Cube Connect that we were showing earlier. If Levi presses a joystick, he can quickly change from simple inactive time, right, to an active time. So it's going to switch that color over to blue, and we'll start to see these numbers increase, right? So we're at 16, sorry, stop hovering my mouse over this. We're at 168.06, now we're at 168.03. So we're calculating this in minutes. It's very easy for us to run this through an analytic to switch this over to hours if you wish. But I like minutes, it's quickly, easily digestible. So as you can see, that chart's coming in. So what this is, it's just an overview of each individual team member, right? So we have Levi's picture up here, where, he's in the engineering department, quick contact information when he joined the organization. Up here, I have some KPIs. Currently, he's active, as we just saw, how many minutes he's spent active, and those are updating in real time, as you see. Then I have some environmental data points coming in. So his temperature and humidity. Want to make sure our workers are in a safe environment, right? So this is relevant. As we move down this dashboard, we have his time log. So momentarily, I'll show you how he inputs this data. But each day, he's able to say when he started work, when he ended work, and what he completed for that day, along with any roadblocks. Also, we can see the body movement. So need to make sure that we're still moving around and not just sedentary, sitting behind a desk for 12 hours a day. One piece that we'll look at in more granular detail is this risk score. So coworker 2, he's up in New York City, and he has a risk score of 15,016 or 614. Levi is at a risk level of 2. So again, Abraham will take this over momentarily. Let me just take a quick look at how we input this daily report. So
just to emphasize, Chris, this dashboard you showed is all into C2M. So it's created in C2M. Now you're going and showing the workflow part of the C2M, and then the AI part was the one-text MicroAI, right?
You got it, absolutely. So let's dive into the workflow. So productivity tracker, if I go into this app, have my team listed out here, and if I create a new entry, I'm going to log my time for a day. So I'll select my name, I'll select my start time, usually an early riser. So let's say I started at 6 a.m. And for today, I need to complete the Prezzo for this presentation. And let's say I need to reach out to partners and send emails, whatever they may be, right? So I'd fill this out and submit. Then at the end of the day, I'd come back in and say, all right, I worked from 6 a.m. till, let's say it was an early day. Stopped at 5 o'clock and say, completed Prezzo, reached out, etc. Right, so I'd submit this. This data then feeds directly back into that dashboard, right? So this is where all of this data that we're looking at for Levi is generated directly from that workflow. Last piece that I'll show on this dashboard before handing over to Abraham is GitHub commits. So based on his department, so right, he's in engineering, we have a GitHub widget here, but I, being in sales, I'm going to have a HubSpot widget there, which is going to track how effective I'm being at my outreach, the clients I'm reaching out to, etc. If I was on IT or IT support, I'd have a Symbol listed here. If I was on marketing, I'd have Google Analytics listed here. So this is specific to that department of each user. And Abraham, with that, I'll hand it over to you to really show the value that we have running in our AI-generated risk score.
Thank you very much, Chris. Could you please stop sharing screen? I'll share mine. Thank you. So as Chris explained before, the risk score is calculated based on the data we get from Johns Hopkins University. And we calculate the top 6 counties closest to your coordination. And with this number, we also add weight based on the distance. And we eventually get a influence number. It's based on a prediction of number of cases in this area, but not exactly the exact case because we add weight to it. Here I can show you how it works. This is all my code regarding the AI engine. And this part we got a number of different coordinates. You can get this number from Google Map or anywhere. And then we feed these coordinates to my AI engine. And then this is my result. As we can see, the center of Dallas has a score of 2,800, but the center of New York has a much higher score because they have much higher number of COVID-19. But some people, if they're in the middle of nowhere in Colorado, then the score is much lower. And then we categorize those scores into different categories, which low risk, medium risk, or high risk. Because New York is much higher, their risk is much higher than other people, so they're in the highest level, they're in danger. If you have any other questions, you can ask me in the Q&A. If not, we'll move back to Chris Ketterton.
Yep, wonderful, Abraham. So
thank you very much.
I think that really completes our overview here. Like I said at the beginning of this, it's relevant for today's COVID-19 times. It's relevant for far beyond that. So it generates a lot of value for businesses today and in the future. So thank you very much for listening. I'll open it up for Q&A from the judges.
Good job, Chris and team. You guys have covered a lot of stuff with all the different technologies. Huh? Great work. So judges, any questions you guys want to start asking them?
Yeah, I think I need this for my students. Now we've been, it's been a pretty taxing change for students to come out of classrooms and go online. You know, and you know, circumstances like these cause a lot of mental health, anxiety, and things like that. It's been a little tough for us to try and manage students falling over the cliff. You know, if they are anxious about going home, and you know, if they're, so the way we are checking on them is by have they logged into our LMS system, have they attended any of the classes, have they turned in the assignments. We're looking at all that data to figure out is something going on, because this person is now remote and we don't have access. Obviously our therapy departments don't have access, mental health departments don't have access to these students. So that's one way to track the activity, to figure out is something going on with the student? Do we need to contact the parents, or do we need to contact the student directly? We're
Absolutely.
not getting reactions from them. So this has been, I mean, actually more than just productivity, this has more of being like, you know, a health check, because if we feel kind of we are responsible, we are the ones who know these people. Because a lot of folks live alone. Even with the workforce, you know, a lot of people live alone, and the only touch point they have out in the public is their workplaces. Now that they're remote and the workplaces are not keeping in contact, you know, they disappear off the face of the earth, no one would know until a few days later. So, you know, something like this is really good. We had something like this back in Fujitsu, but it was ahead of its time. You know, nobody wanted to contribute in that level of information. But now, you know, we are looking for platforms that do this. So one of the, I guess, really well done, but I guess we could look at this as a black box for the enterprise. Just like on a plane, it records everything, and it's used if something happens.
Well,
right?
for company operations, you know, I have a team of people, and I need to jump to multiple different systems to see what they're doing. So every single day I would utilize this. Looking at the risk score, of course, I would look at that on a daily basis as well. So not only with COVID, but like you're saying, are people submitting their activities? Are they submitting, you know, their quizzes? Are they opening up the material that I'm sending them? So I think it has much more of an impact on a daily basis than just, you know, post event.
No, and in fact, people are not just dying of COVID; they are dying of other things.
Of
when
course,
they get
of course.
to their own devices. You never know what goes on. So, God forbid, people having a tough time working through, being on their own. So it looks like you guys have integrated to Microsoft, to email exchanges. Is this also integrated to Slack, Jira, Atlassian?
Yeah, very similar tools. Yeah, so Assembla is our equivalent of Jira. So activity on Slack, activity on Skype. Looking at how they're interacting with their teams, are they interacting with their teams, would certainly be a part of this.
Right. Yeah. So getting that into action, like basically work, especially in this time, in countries where people are isolated, they're not even allowed to go outside. Kind of if I could run an analogy to a health tracker, in the sense like if I want to run a marathon, I'd actually I use an app called Endomodo, and it basically tells me how much to run, how fast to run, or what pace to keep, or what cadence to keep, if I'm going to be able to run, a full marathon or half marathon in like maybe 4 weeks or a month or 3 months. So basically what it's doing is it's giving me a cadence. So if you look at that, maybe something similar to provide a cadence to work, yes, I can see all this, but even, looking at these dashboards, it can make people feel really anxious that, hey, I'm behind on my work. I don't know how to get this done, but I'm already working more than the hours that, I would have done at work, because of everybody working from home. There is no structure to when you begin and when you end. So can this app be used to kind of create that cadence, give a similar structure as a workplace, so that people, mind frames are like more, okay, fine. I mean, if I want to reach here, this is already telling me I need to start solving so many issues or so many tickets at this rate.
Right, absolutely. That could be a part of the AI output. Is, we have, today is the 19th of April, and due date is the end of the month. Right, we have this many open tickets, and you're assigned to this many open tickets based on just simple analytics. This does not have to be AI driven. You need to complete, 5 tickets a day. If we go beyond that and start looking at how much effort needs to go into each one of these tickets, then we could start producing, you should accomplish these 3 tickets today. 1 is very tough, 2 are very easy, right? So we could start breaking it down. Right. So certainly a very good roadmap item for this.
Yeah, and especially the manager, can probably reallocate the work. The last point I wanted to make was, incorporate just like your fitness tracker, breathing apps. The other thing is, do anticipate, the success of this kind of a tool actually depends on making sure, anticipating that people will go away from work to look at stock market tickers, news, Twitter feed, Facebook, coffee breaks, lunch breaks, what have you. But that should be part of the design of the tool, so that it seems a little more humane,
right,
than having a watchdog.
Yeah, no, we're humans, right? We need to take breaks. We need to stand up and walk around and realize that there's a beautiful outside world too that we can at least observe, right? So completely agree with everything you've said.
Right. So if you design the layout around that, and then overlay the work piece in there, that means keep your stock tickers right there. They can click on it, they can go to it. It's right there. I mean, you're allowed to interact with all that. It's not like
absolutely.
Yeah. Good questions. Cats, Lai. Yeah.
I love the discussion earlier. It just remind me, one of my customer were asking us is for our FirstNet customer. They want to keep track of the health of their employees, and especially during this time, like the fire department and the hospital, and how they can keep track of their mental health, and how they can keep track of these first line people, that how we can provide assistance to them, because most of them, once they are in the emergency room, once they are involved with an incident, they will forget about themselves. And I think this is going to be so helpful for some of my customers that they want to keep track of their employees' health. This can be integrated with the sensor like you guys talking about. And I see this has a really good potential for the future, not only this COVID-19, but for future maintaining the employee health.
Yes, strongly agreed. Thank you, Lai.
Yep.
The other thing is you could add maybe a conversational aspect to it. People sitting at home just working, and if they don't have people around them, it's like they're not even talking the whole day except for getting on calls or meetings. But just a thought.
Absolutely. Cats, any questions?
Yes, AI use this application. AI used only for the prediction for the risk of infection.
For the risk score overall. So today it's calculating risk score for infection.
Okay.
Future uses would be risk score, talking about what we've talked about here, overall employee health.
Okay, yeah, but I think AI should predict the worker efficiency and the project efficiency too.
Yes.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, if you do that, Mr. Hemi won't do this one.
All right.
I like the aspect of all the integrations of the different tools. I think Rashmi had a good point that Slack would be a good one. If you can put like Microsoft 365, pull in information from Teams and things like that, it will be good.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think ultimately a point to consider is that what we did today was just sort of a demonstrative framework and just sort of a use case example, but ultimately it's the technology and C2M and MicroAI, and we can really do any of these things that have been suggested. They're all great suggestions, so we can really bring in almost any application metrics.
Yep.
So
So again, we are COVID 365. Thank you all for listening today. There was a play on Microsoft 365 because there's so many uses for this. So again, COVID 365. Thank you guys for listening.
All right. Thank you guys. If the judges can pay attention on that row for COVID 365 while voting, that will be really good. And then we have now our last team coming in. So before the last team comes in, Vivek, I know the meeting was set till 7:30. But we might need to extend this so that it doesn't end. Is there a good way you have a capability to make sure that this bridge does not close by itself?
Yeah, it should not close actually. I'll check that.
Okay. All right. So the point is that after the last presentation, the judges and me will go into a separate meeting and then we'll come back. So in the interim, I would say that 15-20 minutes we'll need. What you guys can do is like take a short break or whatever, come back. But like try to regroup by, 15 minutes after. And if anybody wants to do, Plasma Got Talent or One Tech Got Talent and sing and dance or do something, that might be a good way to burn that 15 minutes. Huh?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. So now we have the last team. And how do you pronounce your team's name?
Quarantinis.
Quarantinis. All right.
We're all quarantined and at home, so we're quarantinis. So look at that. Tamar showing her martini. She rhymes with quarantini.
Wow, okay. Well, somebody's having fun at least, huh? All right.
It's water.
Let me share my screen here.
Take it away, man.
Sounds good. Just give me a second. Share screen. All right. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yep.
All right, great. So, hello everyone. This is Team Quarantinis. We have an application that's called Hub Bubble. So it's a mouthful, but when we go through this, you'll realize what we are talking about. And Quarantinis, as you can see, there's a martini with COVID inside it. So we are comfortable working with all the challenges that COVID virus presents us. No olives, but COVID inside. So let us take it away from here. Now looking at our own, what has happened in our own lives in the past few weeks, there are a bunch of challenges that we have seen both around us and with our own lives. So we have seen a lot of loss of jobs and revenue streams, which are challenging businesses and consumers to obtain even basic services. And then there is a social distancing. People are trying to avoid even routine activities such as grocery or a haircut, and then they're like consolidating grocery runs, and then they're doing Target shopping. Just they go to Kroger, they just buy bread and milk, and they come out. They don't even want to get to any other aisle if they can avoid it. So there are also the other side of the coin. There are people who are willing to help others. They're willing to volunteer, but it's not always easy to find opportunities to help. Let's say, for example, you are able to help from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays, where you want to help your community, but who are you going to help? You don't know who you can help, right? Also, organizations are looking for donors and help, but like, for example, there could be an urgent care next door to you. They're desperately looking for extra face masks, and you may have extra face masks, but you have no idea that they're looking for this, right? And there are people who are willing to sell products and services, but they don't know who is willing to buy. So for example, let's say I have my parents in Florida. They're willing to pay somebody to actually get groceries dropped off at their doorstep. And they have somebody who is right next door who is willing to do it for a fee, but they never connect with each other. So this connection does not happen. So there's no collaboration here. So, and maybe in the last couple of weeks, you may have actually faced it yourself. I mean, your neighbor, let's say, just did a grocery run and then went to Kroger, got milk. They could have brought you bread, but you never knew this was happening. And then, like I mentioned, then you have 5 extra face masks, and does the nurse who is next door to you, does she need them? So, there's in this special situation that we are in, there is a big need for some kind of a tool that can help collaborate and then connect all these people. I mean, there is so many opportunities for people who want to volunteer or want to sell some things or services. And there are people who are looking for help, and then we just need to connect them and then make this a easier sail through during this situation. So Hub Bubble, which is our attempted solution to this, tries to address this issue. Now, what is Hub Bubble? Now, if you look at this, it's an innovative solution. So there is somebody who is needing help. On the top left, you see that this guy is thinking, okay, I need some help. I want to get, let's say I want to buy some hand sanitizers or something like that. He needs some help. We don't know what it is. Then what he does is he just puts his request in Hub Bubble for something that he's looking to do. And there is this dude down below who has a lot of free time, and then he can pretty much do anything we ask him to do. Look at his face. So he can provide help, and he also is able to put in his availability to help, or a product or a service or something he's selling or willing to volunteer. He puts it in the same place, and then what our software does is it matches the provider of the service to somebody who needs help, right? So the provider receives the request, he or she accepts and starts processing the request, and the user request is completed and the request is closed, right? So this is the collaboration. And on the right side, you see how this is also a value add, a commercial model, right? So it's a freemium model where the application itself is free for all users. Both providers and requesters can download it, and then as long as you're providing free service or looking for a free service, it works for free. If you want to be a little more effective, like you want to help your parents in Florida by finding somebody who is near them to actually help them out, then we can charge you a one-time app download fee, so you can support unrestricted location access. The first year it only supports your local area. And the third tier, which is commission based. So you want to sell something, yeah, that is fine. So we'll charge a 5% fee if you want to sell something, and then Plasma will make that money. Okay. So let me move on unless there are any questions on this slide. Okay. Now, here we are giving you a sneak peek into what is the technology that we are using to make this happen, right? So the bottom line, the basic framework of C2M is supporting this entire technology. So we have C2M playing the middleman role, I mean the key role in the middle. And then there is a web application and a mobile application. As I have mentioned on the bottom left here, the dotted lines are future functionality. We have not had time to complete those things. So the web application is complete. So we have the web application supported, mobile application, which are interacting with C2M using APIs. For example, the user management, the workflows, all of those are on C2M. Then on the right side, you see payment services. We work through a payment service to consummate all the payments. There is SMS services, which we have already integrated with, which will notify both when we marry a requester with a provider. And on the left, you see the AI engine, and I'll tell you shortly why we need that AI engine. So you see the current features. We have user profile preferences. Any individual or any organization can also use it. Let's say, I'm a hospital, a small hospital. I need some help. I need somebody to donate something to me. Then I can use this app. You can request help for any product or service. There is no restriction on what kind of product or service you want to use, or you can provide any product or service. You can even volunteer. And also we send you SMS notifications when there is a match, and you can either accept or reject it. And then there's also a provider rating. So, you can keep track of, what is the rating of the provider. In terms of future improvements, just like, any other service that, you're a middleman connecting two people, you need to have some kind of a background verification that should be a part of the future improvement. Intelligent AI matching. This is where the AI engine is going to come into picture, where first of all, if I say, let's say, if I'm looking for provisions, is what they call it in the UK, for grocery, and then somebody is saying I can actually help with grocery, then we need to have some kind of an intelligent matching to understand what the user may be looking for, and then match it to the right request that may come from the other side, right? So we'll need AI for that. We also need AI to predict what kind of demands are going to come up based on historical data and the trends, and how this society is moving towards some kind of a need or some kind of a capability to provide something, all of those. The third one is the GPS or location-based functionality, where automatically, based on where the user is submitting the request, we already have this functionality where it is down to your zip code, where we do a search. But if it is GPS based, then it can even go down to my street level or my my community level, things like that. Multiple language support, so people from different countries and people with different language requirements can use it, and also secure payments, which will allow for this for the transactions to go through. So I'll go into the next part, which is the business value, right? So we did a market size and revenue estimate. So bottom line is, for whatever we create, we are a for-profit organization. We are looking at how much money we can make out of this, and also if we can also help society as a part of our functioning here. So this app is useful for anyone, but what we decided was we will initially target a small segment of the market, which is senior citizens, because they are the most likely that will need help. Okay, so there is a little math here on the left side. So we have 47 million senior citizens here, out of which about 38% use smartphones. A small percentage of them are willing to pay for apps based on our research. And then we estimated that about 1% of penetration of this market, which goes to 90,000 users who we can probably target to acquire. So the estimated revenue from each user, if they buy either $50 of a service or a product, we're estimating like a 5% commission on it, and so which comes to $2.50 per paying users, and total annual revenue from this small segment is about $225K, right? So once we fine tune this market and become effective in this market segment, then we can expand to other markets, right? It could be not senior citizens. Maybe we target millennials next, or we target a specific industry or things like that, or hospitals next. So expanding to newer markets with multiple language, we can also increase adoption of the market. App across different geos. Also remember, it's not just applicable for coronavirus. It is applicable to multiple situations. If there's a war, if there's a calamity, famine, and also in the future, as societies become more remote and they're more comfortable using online services, it can actually become a regular, regular tool that you can use. Now, how are we going to reach all of these people, especially the first segment that we are targeting? We'll advertise, we'll use ASO, which is the App Store Optimization Services. We can create viral content, we can have raffles and sponsor charitable events. All of these are possibilities. We will not be hiring phone-to-phone salesmen. It's just a joke. So that's business value. So finally, what is the bottom line? It is, we are trying to provide an innovative value with all this. So let's look at Google right now. How come Google has become such a popular website? It's because it is, if you really think about it, there's only one text box on the site, and then it has become so popular. The strength is its simplicity and effectiveness, right? It is not overloading a lot of information or anything like that initially. So user will ask what he or she is looking to ask, and then the effective results actually make it such a useful tool, right? So our Hub Bubble operates in the same way. With a very simple interface, we are able to enable powerful collaboration between individuals, volunteers, fee-based businesses. The base version is free, so that will encourage a lot of downloads. The approach allows people to volunteer or offer benefit from free products. And the premium version, like we said, it offers a charge for service, which will result in revenue stream for Plasma. Also, it works for pretty much any kind of a product or a service, even for volunteering. And it is much better to use an app like this than using like a local classified, a Nextdoor, or a social media app, or there are other things like 5 Mile Favor apps. We went through all of these apps as a part of our research, and the difficulty in using these other apps is that they're not tailored for this current situation, right? So Nextdoor is tailored for something else, but then it can also help with some collaboration. But then when you ground up create an app which is based on this need, it will actually make a big impact. So that is the innovative value that we are bringing to the table. And finally, our team. Before we jump on to the actual demo, we'll talk about who all we. It's the 5 of us: Vicky, Tamar, Kendall, Salim, and myself, Mahesh. So Vicky was the development. He was in charge of developing the front end of the screens, the UX, the functionality, user management, overall app development, all of Vicky's stuff. Tamar, business and analysis, data design and creation, slide deck design and creation, video and competing platforms research. All of that was Tamar's area. Kendall is the master of application UX design. So she spent a lot of long hours through late nights and early mornings to complete that, the layouts, the graphics, video storyboarding. I was involved in the development of the concept, doing some market analysis and coordination between all of our team members and supporting their activities. And Salim is the king of the backend. So he was the he developed all the backend functionality, the databases, creation of that, workflows, integration with C2M, design, and the front-end API, all of this. So this time, what we can do is we can jump to the, to demo the application. We'll show how it is built out, and then after that, we can start taking questions. I'll stop sharing. Salim, if you could please share your screen. Great.
So, Manish, and thank you. Welcome everybody in the meeting.
So Thank you, Salim. Yeah, we can see your screen. So let me go over this thing. So here there are, we can start off with the signing screen, where, we'll show that, you can actually, this is the splash screen, you can actually sign in and then, or register yourself. We'll go into the sign in. So all of these are enabled by standard C2M platform features, which really helped us a lot in making sure that with a very short time frame we were able to develop this. In fact, all of our team members were like really inundated, but we could pull this off because of C2M and team. Yeah, let's log in. So here, so essentially this hub bubble has two things. One is either you are able to provide you need some help, or you can provide some help. Those are the only two possibilities with this collaboration situation, right? So here, when you come into the app, you can say, okay, I need some help, or I can provide help. So let's go into I need some help. So here, again, going by the Google kind of design, we want to keep it as simple as possible. Just tell me what help you need with, you need. So for example, you can say, I want to pick up grocery and I want somebody to deliver it. And then all you do is you type in whatever you're looking to do, and then you submit the request. So what the system does is in the back end, it is looking at all the people who are able to provide help in this area. So there is one guy called Mahesh Ramu who has given this, I'm willing to pick up grocery in Valley Ranch area and deliver within 1 mile. So if I like this, I can actually look into more details by clicking on it, or I can actually, I can actually go and look for somebody else who is going to do it. So here you can see that I'm the details of this person, Mahesh, who has actually put this provider request. So he's willing to pick up grocery. He's going to charge $5 per hour, and he can work on weekdays between 3 to 4 p.m. and the listing expires in 1 day. So one important aspect of this whole development was the fact that all these pieces of information that we are collecting in this collaboration platform, they need to expire sometime very quickly, because it has to expire in 2 days, 3 days, 1 week. Otherwise you'll have really old requests, people who are no longer providing that service or who don't need that help. They may, their data, we don't want it to remain. So the moment you want to put in anything into the system, it will ask you, how long do you want to keep this? So we will not allow people to have it more than like 3 days or 5 days, 7 days, like that. So this listing is going to expire in 1 day. So you have two options. You can either cancel out and then you can go back and look for another person, or you can accept the offer. If you accept the offer, what the system does is it will contact Mahesh, and then it will send him a text saying that, hey, this person who just logged in, we have his information because of his user profile. So this person is looking for help, and then from there they can talk to each other, text each other, whatever they want to do. It's all outside the platform. We just connected these two people, right? Now, if we go back, Salim, please.
So Mahesh, we are at 20-minute mark, so we need to keep like 10 minutes for the judges. So if you guys can take 2-3 minutes to go over the rest of their presentation.
Sure. So let's say we'll put another face. Let's look for mask. So I want to give you an example where there's more than one user, for example, right? So if you're looking for face mask, let's say, so you search for face mask. So what it will do is it's now going and searching all the people. So Salim, for example, is willing to sell face masks. So so that is this is the part where you are requesting for help. Now let's go back home and then let's look if you want to provide a service. So we'll do that very quickly, and then we can wrap this up. So I can provide help. So this is also a very simple simple screen. So it will tell you, it will ask you what help are you willing to provide. So this is where you type in, okay, I can sell face masks or things like that, and then you can type in how much do you want to charge. Maybe it is $5 per box, or it is like $2 an hour, whatever is the unit that you want to put in, you can put in. You can tell them whether you're willing to work on weekdays, weekends, and what time zones, and what times you can work, and how long you want to keep your listing active, things like that. And you can also my offers, that link, it is like, if you have listed 4 or 5 things that you can do, then you can go look at the list of things that you want to do, you're willing to do, and then you can either delete them or you can continue. So let me stop there. There is one more piece of functionality, but I think we'll stop there and then we'll open it up for questions. If if we have time later on, we can cover that other last piece.
So Mahesh, if you can also highlight which technologies you used there.
Yeah. So going back to the basic framework, the C2M workflows is the basic framework on which we have built it. So there is a API engine that is connecting the C2M system to the web app, which can also, those APIs can also be used for a mobile app. So we have used, for example, the user management, workflows API, all of those are on the back end. On the front end, we have used .NET. And I'll let Vicky and Salim talk about any more details on the technology if they want to share.
Yeah, so this whole application is built on the workflow system, and then we are using the workflows API. So here is our data model that is there, and then means to completely expire the listings, we are using the workflow system again in there. So, and then this is the workflow. So this is my workflow, and it's taking a little longer on my machine today. But the whole data model and the workflow APIs has been used for the system.
Okay. I'll open it up for questioning. So while you're showing it, if any of the judges want to ask questions.
So, yeah, I have a few questions. I think I like this. We've been breaking our head with Nextdoor and other. It's just a rambling feed. It's so hard to find the right help. Is there something in here that could integrate into the Nextdoor model? Like,
yeah, we can. It is possible. So depending on the APIs that Nextdoor can provide us, we can actually extract out data, and also we can do an intelligent search on seeing if there is some kind of somebody who is wanting to help or sell something. We can extract only those pieces of information, or if somebody is looking for help, we can also extract those pieces of information.
but if you don't complete the transaction on your platform, because you said they could text and connect outside of the app, that's something that Uber does really well. You can't really get to the personal information of the driver itself. It's not like you can just call them and say, why don't you just come pick me up? I don't want to go through the Uber app.
Right. So this one, we designed it mostly as a social service app, in the sense that we are only connecting people. So if we want to consummate, when transactions, when it becomes a revenue stream, obviously we are more interested in not letting go of our possible revenue opportunity. And we have to put in some, I agree with you, we have to put in some more borders at that stage when revenue becomes a main consideration.
Oh, right. So actually what I see is this is very much like, I like the design, the simple design, especially for senior citizens. It's like the TaskRabbit
yes.
design, right? The company out of New York, it was actually purchased by IKEA 2017-18. So even though your revenue may show a small upside, but in terms of like Nextdoor coming and acquiring it and things like that, that has a very high potential of a takeover. So that's I like how it's concise and the design is really nice, and especially the TaskRabbit style of thing, saying I need help, I'm ready to give help. Like
right, exactly. TaskRabbit focuses a lot on services, which is really good, and I love TaskRabbit as well for that reason. Here, if you want to volunteer, you want to provide a product also, several things. I mean, or you could be looking for donors, for example.
Right. Yeah, right now we don't have a platform where we can find the right volunteering opportunities. It's really hard. You have to go through a lot of hoops. And same with Nextdoor, same with trying to sell on Facebook. You know, there's several apps to try and sell now. So what you're doing is you're actually aggregating several things into one.
Right. And also it is a commercial value also with this innovation of, keeping it simple, because, there is a revenue stream, and then, we have analyzed that also as a part of this whole thing.
Very nice.
All right. Any other questions, judges, Cats?
Yeah, I have to echo. I really like the design, simple design, but I'm trying to understand, like, how that will differ. Maybe your database of services, from company like Angie's List. Angie's List helped me to find the handyman. So, is there something that you guys can differentiate? Maybe it's your integration with all these platforms out there, or maybe the way that you guys are offer more personal experience. Because like Angie List, what I don't like is so commercial. Is there something that you guys are thinking of, how you differentiate yourself from all the other service providers?
Right, absolutely. So Angie's List, definitely it is more commercial oriented. It is kind of similar to TaskRabbit, except Angie's List is only for mostly for rating people, right? So if you want to sell a product or provide a volunteering service, it is a little tricky to use something like Angie's List. But you're absolutely right. So what we need to do, based on what you and Rashmi are already indicating, is that we need to have API feeds gathering information from these external platforms, so we can get that all together into this application, and then make it even more effective, and then with more participation from other people.
I think one of the things which I got was that what you guys are trying to do is reduce the social distances created.
Right.
Now your neighbor can help you,
Exactly.
Yeah, like the next door.
To the point is that, you don't know what the neighbor is needing. This can help you to close the distances. The distances are growing, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And yeah, even if you want like simple help with grocery, I mean, if he's already going there to Kroger, I mean, let him get milk. I mean, I can go next time and I go get it.
Yep. Yeah, very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other questions?
Cats, do you have any question for us?
No, but yeah, this is a very good idea and the simple UX. Yeah, I like it. But big if the bad person use that kind of application, so it's gonna be problem. So
yes,
we need some kind of scoring system for the volunteer people and users. Yeah, I think so.
Exactly. So that, in fact, you actually nailed it on it, because that was the first thing that came up when we were discussing internally. So in fact, Tamar wanted to put the picture of a burglar actually accepting the request, right, on our PowerPoint. But I said we'll just put it as a future thing where we'll do the background checks. And that is the same issue that is being faced by anybody, like TaskRabbit, for example, where you can get somebody who can do your woodwork in your house, for example, but they don't know if this guy could be a burglar, right?
Yeah.
So, we have to do a background check, and that can actually become a part of the paid service also, where we only suggest background check people, people who have been in police task force before, or people who are school bus drivers, things like that. So that will make it easier. You're right.
All right. Great work, all teams. Great job, you guys. Again, if you can repeat your team's name.
Yeah, it is Quarantinis, and if all of our Quarantinis can wave your hand so they can see who we are.
So judges, if you can look at the row for Quarantinis while we're voting, and I have sent you guys just a new invite. So if you guys can join on that one, and then we'll come back to this in 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right. So And judges, if you need to take a break and come in like 5 minutes later, that's fine. No problem. Okay.
I will be taking a break also.
All right. And somebody should be singing here and performing. Okay.
I'll let the
got talent.
quarantinees do that.
All right. Okay, guys. Thank you. Very well done. Very well done. Very impressive and very well done. Okay.
Thank you.
Just feedback.
Yes. Yes.
A round of applause. Yeah, round of applause for
Yeah.
everyone. And
Good
all of
job.
you guys need to pat yourself on the back too. You know.
I know. In 2 weeks, you guys are amazing.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. Actually, you made my Sunday very productive.
Yeah.
All right, judges. I'll see you in the other one. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So are we going to stay on this one till they come back?
Yeah,
or?
yeah, I think everyone's supposed to wait here, but we can like leave and turn off mics and video. Salim, and can go you do stop other your sharing, please?
Sorry?
Can you stop your sharing, Salim?
Oh, screen sharing, yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Oh, there you go. Let me
I
grab
was
it.
gonna sing. Hey, doesn't someone have a guitar in the crowd?
Oh yeah, Zach does.
Zach.
Where's Zach? Why
Both the
he
Zachs.
needs to play something.
Trombone and trombone with Zach Cody and Zach Mossback with the guitar. You guys should play something.
Together on the internet on Zoom.
That's what we should have developed, an app where everyone could sing together.
Like it.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
I could probably, my 5-year-old was just outside my office dancing. I could probably bring her back and
Yeah.
camera at her.
I'll quickly grab a drink and be back.
A martini.
Hey, Chris, look. Come here.
Yeah, for the record, this is actually water, which is really boring.
Yeah, go fix that up, Tamer.
So I think everything was awesome. All the presentations went really well.
Yep.
I really liked a lot of the PowerPoints. Were a lot of fun.
Yeah, agreed.
Melissa, how's Mexico?
It's just like every other city because everything is shut down.
It's a giant city.
Yeah, it's really beautiful that I can see from my balcony, and then when I walk out, there's nothing.
Where else is everyone? Where's everyone else? Still
I
in
have not
Texas?
stopped the recording thing. The recording is still going, okay?
Yeah.
So are you saying we're not supposed to talk about martini and wine?
No, you can talk whatever you want. Hello. Chris is outside.
So after this is over, we're all gonna go to rehab.
Oh my God, are you living there?
Wow.
Chris, you're so lucky. You're having the best quarantine time.
Oh man, I missed it. Did you just show your view? I've seen it before though.
How do you get internet out of nowhere?
Oh, where's that?
Yeah, that's not terrible. It's pretty nice.
Where are you, Chris?
We're up in Santa Fe.
Wow.
If anybody could hear me, he's in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't hear. That's really nice.
Really feeling bad for you, Chris.
Yeah.
Looks terrible.
Oh, well, I presented about 5 beers deep, so hopefully I didn't come across too strong.
I think you did good considering.
You should add more.
There's number 7.
Oh boy.
Man.
Oh, yeah. Good job, everyone. True, are you still on here?
His picture is.
Hi, I am now.
Man, you guys did great. I certainly would use that safe travel thing.
Yeah, it's a safe journey, okay, mind you.
Get it right. It's going to be the next big thing.
Yeah. My wife and I are supposed to take our kids to Honduras at the end of June. So I need you to get your app up and running and let me know if we're going to be able to go or not.
I don't think their border is open either. I know that
Oh.
Mexico's is closed down until who knows when.
I'm fairly confident our trip is canceled.
We're supposed to be in Italy in essentially a month. Obviously, that's not happening.
You ain't going to Italy, buddy.
For like years.
I don't know. You could go to like one of the little islands just outside of Italy. I'm sure that'll get cleaned up pretty soon.
Yeah, that was our plan, flying to Naples and then just go sail around the islands. But still, I mean, just to get there, we had to fly into Rome or Naples, and not going to deal with that. Ajay, you have some crazy designs going on with your webcam.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to use that virtual background thing, but it's not working on my Zoom. I don't know why.
Well,
you need a more solid background. Like, if you just move your camera just to be the wall.
The series of computers that we have don't have the right video card for the virtual background. We have to have a green screen. If we had a different video card, we could use the virtual background without a green screen.
Where is the virtual background thing?
You've got like a monster computer.
It should be like if you're on your if you're using like a laptop, then I think there's a little down arrow next to like video, and then that should open up the menu. Otherwise, it'll be under preferences.
Oh, choose virtual background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for instance, Chris, you could choose like a mountainous background, like say New Mexico or something like that.
Whoa, how'd you do that? Wow. That's insane. I missed out. How did you do that?
If you're on your laptop, go to like the camera icon.
That's what I was
talking about. You click on the camera icon, you'll make
Oh, that was a little demo, I guess, of using how to set up a virtual background. Yeah, I got it. Cool.
There we go.
So Melissa's got an awesome computer too. Lucky Melissa. Tamara too.
I'm on my iPad.
How come I don't have a good computer, Chris?
Talk to Vivek, man. The judges are gonna come back and we're all like in outer space.
And drinking.
Time, right? This just shows how much you're missing each other, right? No?
Yeah. Ajay, I like that. I like it where it just only has your facial hair and that's it.
Wishful thinking, right?
Nice haircut, True.
Man, I really need to get a haircut, as I'm sure with most people in the world.
I guess that's why Zach was wearing a hat, because he wanted to hide.
I'm sending my account number to all of you. Just send 20% to me, okay? Yeah, the winner can send 20% in my account.
We don't know you, Vivek.
Alright?
Oh God, Tamar, you're just going all over the place.
Fell down and came back up.
That's pretty.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
How'd you do that?
And upside down.
You can click on rotate 90 degrees. It might work better with the space one.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
International Space Station.
See, now the background makes sense. Before it was just crazy.
FOMO in effect.
Oh, look at Kendall. She's in, looks like Jamaica.
Where I would like to be.
Oh, yeah. Not now.
No, send me there by myself. I'm fine with that.
Okay, yeah.
I'll
You have
social distance myself.
get all the people out of the way and then let them use the beach.
Exactly.
I've been whisked away to magical Cedar Park, Texas in this study of Zach Morsbach. It's amazing.
All right, the weekend is done, guys.
Thanks, Mahesh.
Just a friendly reminder about the Monday.
Yeah, great, perfect.
So today wasn't Monday. Okay, I'm confused.
So, I'm almost thinking of taking the day off tomorrow because
I really think someone should ask Yasser. I was texting with Zach Cody about this earlier. Someone should ask Yasser if we can have a flex day off this week due to our efforts here.
Seriously, yeah.
yeah, I can ask him.
Zach, you're muted.
Thank you so much.
Zach, you're muted. There you
Yeah, I know I'm muted because I have a 2-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
Don't pull all the wires.
All right, I'm gonna have to get mine.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I have to stay muted or else she will sound like a pterodactyl coming through. Is that right, Abby? Say hi to everyone.
Oh, she is. Oh my god.
That's true. She knows.
You trained her good, Zach. You trained her good.
I trained her. That's right. We train our children.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, she's so cute.
He's saying Mama trained.
Yeah, that's right. Mama did it.
Well, that's weird. If I wave,
for
my
everything.
camera disappears.
Oh, because you have the background.
Doesn't like motion.
Oh, good, Melissa. You have a drink. Is that too bad of me? I mean, I felt like once I finished presentation.
I've had
That was the benefit of going first, Zach.
Almost everyone has it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to take it easy.
Oh, now you're upset.
Right here.
That is what you do after a 3-hour long meeting.
I'm gonna say hi.
Yeah.
Here are mine.
Oh.
Hey.
They wanted to come say hi.
Hi, bye. So what are they? The judges are just in a different room right now. Is that what's going on?
Deliberating.
Yeah,
Zoom room, yeah.
Zoom does like break-off rooms that you can go into and like have private conversations, and then you just come right back.
Oh. Well,
kidding, Melissa?
I left not knowing that.
Hmm?
So.
Does it really do that, Melissa? I thought they just started a different meeting.
Oh, well, they didn't have to because Zoom does break-off rooms.
That's cool. I didn't know.
I hadn't done that before, yeah.
Hello. Oh.
You still waving at everyone?
All right, Minky's dog.
This is Rosie.
Hey, Rosie.
Oh, man.
Oh, he's cute.
You see the puppy? Oh, man.
She's like, I want one.
See the puppy?
He's getting bigger very quickly, right?
Uh-huh.
How old is he?
She's almost 11 months.
Oh, she's 11. Okay.
That's a big puppy. She's a very big puppy.
11 months? Nice.
What's the puppy say?
Oh, Rosie. I want to see you.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
So, Chris, you should get Scoop. I mean, Coop.
Cooper's back in Fort Worth.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, the parents are taking after him. There are a bunch of puppies here that I'm trying to get into the video, but they're all eating dinner, it seems.
Ah.
I think my dog's in the pool right now. So she's not welcome in my study at the moment.
Have you jumped in yet?
Me? No.
Yeah. Man, I jumped in after I mowed the yard, and it's still really cold.
Yeah, nah, I'm good. One of the kids fell in yesterday. It's cold. Nah.
Oh, yeah, it is not warm at all. I mean, here in Dallas, it is so cold. It was actually.
I'm really jealous because this apartment that we're subletting does have a pool indoors on the top floor.
Oh, nice.
Completely closed because of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
See, so I get that from a social distancing perspective, but COVID-19 does not survive in chlorine.
Shit. I need to email this building some data.
Yeah.
No, it's when you hold the handle of the pool and then get in it. That's when you get COVID.
Who has
Be like,
waterproof face masks? That's the question.
I just need to ask if I could just like pay them money to get like 1 hour in there every day. Like it'll
You are
just
in
be my
Mexico,
visit.
so.
Yeah.
I heard
Mexico.
UTD is converting like snorkeling masks into like COVID masks now. Yeah,
What was that?
Oh, look at candles, baby.
UTD is converting COVID, making COVID masks out of snorkeling masks. So
Pretty neat.
interesting.
Really?
She can
Oh, I haven't seen her.
her,
Him.
yeah. Can he keep his head still, or is it still wobbly a little bit? Oh, we
I
can't.
think he's on mute.
Sorry. He's a little wobbly still, but he can hold it up pretty well.
Oh, nice. That's so many babies.
He's got big eyes.
Yeah.
You see the baby?
Looks like Chris found somebody.
In the childhood, he was like
the dog.
Like him.
Kendall.
Sorry, I couldn't hear it.
There.
My son was exactly like him. I will send the picture of
See
him.
the baby?
He was of like 1 year or less than that.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was like
We're
lethal.
all waiting while the judges are.
Baby. 3 months.
There you go.
Salim, looks like your son is also like that. Oh, there you go. Look at Chris.
Oh.
It's like a baby day. Babies, puppies.
Wow, Kendall, you have the second one?
Yes.
Wow, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
It's a boy or girl?
Boy. His name's Eli.
Oh, Zach, you got a baby.
Yeah, she won't leave me alone, so I figured I'd just grab her.
Wow.
She keeps, when Kendall's screen comes up, she yells out "baby."
Cute.
Okay.
Hey, you can go into the gallery view. It will show all the screens.
Yeah. Okay, Abby.
So
It's
Chris,
not allowing
that
me to
little
turn on
puppy
my
that you're holding up.
Aww. Man, so cute.
Yeah, my boy. He's eating a strawberry
How
now.
old is he now?
2. Just turned 2.
Just turned 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Chris, you're the man.
Chris has a baby also.
What's his name? Chris.
This is Bailey's
He's all excited.
girlfriend's dog.
How old is he?
This is a girl. She's like 7. She's quite large, actually.
Wow.
Neat.
Oh, wow, huge person.
Cute.
Neat.
That's the music box.
Salim, where are your kids?
They are bigger than so.
Oh, they're already in the bed?
No, they're not.
Zach, it looks like Abby wants to work for Plasma.
Yeah, she's so eager. I mean, it's not even want anymore. It's like excited. I want to do it.
Yeah, she's all about technology.
He loves us.
What's the
It's
name?
not about technology.
It's really about that artificial intelligence.
There we go.
We should all say hi at the same time to her. Hi, Abby.
Hi.
Oh, she can't actually, I just realized she can't hear y'all.
Oh, your headphones.
Oh.
Now she can.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Abby.
Say hi, Abby.
Hi.
Hi, Abby. Aw.
Okay, all right. Okay. Hi. No.
Oh, there is Salim's kids. Hey, what are their names?
This is Abigail. Abby.
Abby.
I think Salim's is Mustafa.
Hi, Mustafa. How are you?
No, say your name. Say my name.
My name is Hassan.
Hassan. I keep mixing it up.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I was trying to mute it.
Awesome, a family right here.
I know, absolutely. Oh, this is your daughter?
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
All right.
Chris is
Mama, Mama.
Can you play?
Are we all going to do virtual backgrounds by the time the judges come back?
I know, we should make it. Mine doesn't work well. I think it's.
Mine is still not working as well, Mahesh.
I know, you look like a ghost every 2 minutes, and I was like, what the heck is happening to him?
I appreciate it.
Let me try.
And I don't find any background, meaning when I go to the settings and choose virtual background, I don't see any. It says just none. Virtual background.
Select the next image on that same space.
Yeah, you can find it on your desktop.
You just ghosted out.
There is no image. It's just one image that says none.
Maybe with the hand.
Mahesh, I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Put America's Got Talent stage backdrop.
Hey, look at that.
Uh-oh, now the cats are in.
Oh, the cats.
Oh, Mahesh, what is happening? I didn't drink anything, did I?
It was the martini.
It's a water.
That was just water.
Which is that movie where the guy becomes invisible, right?
What are you guys doing?
Here, so they can see the ghost.
Yeah.
We know what time they're coming back, like by 8 maybe.
They said in 20 minutes.
That was 20 minutes ago, maybe 30.
I think the weekend's canceled, right?
Yeah,
I
was
thought
just
it was
trying to
Monday,
start-
Tuesday that's
Start
canceled.
mine and have some remaining few hours in it.
Yeah, I know, right? Unless you're Chris, who wakes up at what, like 4 a.m. or Mahesh.
Yeah, no, I am not Chris, definitely. It's Chris's nap time, probably.
It's getting damn close to bedtime, that's for sure.
Pass out time.
And plus he's drinking Monster, so he won't sleep for like 10 hours.
What are you drinking, Melissa?
It's yes, it is my version of a quarantini, which is orange juice, Topo Chico, tequila, and then muddled figs and blueberries.
Oh wow!
Sounds delicious.
Thank you.
You can send one my way.
Got the entire periodic table in it.
I made a blueberry smoothie. Supposedly made a blueberry smoothie this morning, but the milk and blueberries and some, natural sweetener, and I don't know. There's some sort of reaction, which it didn't look like a smoothie. So I don't know what happened there.
I'm drinking 2 atoms of hydrogen with 1 atom of oxygen.
They call that a blue dolphin.
Is it warm?
So healthy.
Yes.
So on Thursday, this was my high point of the day. I decided to finally take out that gazebo and put it together. So I'm going to show you guys. Here's the camera switch. Wait, switch camera. You guys cannot see. Why you guys cannot see? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
You've got
I
a
put it
huge
together.
backyard.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, you make use of this time while I can enjoy my backyard. You know.
Mary, there's a message for you. Can somebody provide Corona team names so he can update the information?
Okay.
You're winning.
Well, I don't know. That's a good sign. You ask for a name, at least whatever, one of the things. Where is it? Chat. Okay. You know, it's interesting that all of the ideas, like the one that Chris had, we had thought about doing that, but you know, and the other things we were doing. So that was one of the idea, but we then dropped it because we were not going to be able to do it in this much time. And also the one Mahesh you had, so that was also thought of that because in Facebook groups we're seeing, like in my community group, I'm seeing this, who's going to the grocery store, you know, can somebody get this and can somebody get that? So there's that exchange going on. So that would be, you know, that's my idea actually. Did I miss somebody? I'm missing somebody. Ajay.
Ajay, yeah.
Dropping like flies.
But yeah. So I've been like, I know everybody's been working hard, but this weekend I have like not done anything other than this hackathon, and I used the break just to do a quick,
Yeah.
quick
2 days.
shower.
Our team, we had nothing, right? We had zero. So we decided we're going to pull out of it, and then we said, let's just do it anyway. So in 2 days, we pulled the whole thing together. Like it was Thursday, I think, right? When we met. Thursday, we wanted to pull out.
Yeah, Vicky kept telling me, "Oh, we don't have anything. We haven't done anything." I was like, "Stop trying to, you know, give wrong messages to your opponent so that they think, oh, you know, they don't have stuff." So
No, it was honest. It was true.
Yeah,
We didn't have anything.
And then we said, okay, yeah, this is not, there's no point actually, because everybody would have built something, and then just had to pull it together in 2.5 days.
We built everything in that first week, and then honestly was, whenever it got extended, was a little bit of a bummer because it was like, dang, now we got to spend a week to refine everything and give everyone else a chance.
Yeah, I had that same feeling, but I was like, you know, it's Easter, so I didn't even get to vote. So
it made sense that we didn't do it. Yeah, it made sense we didn't do it that day.
Yeah. That was your idea, right, Mahesh? To extend it?
Yes.
There was a few
Thank
people.
you.
But again, I know it was needed, but I was like, man, our one power on our team, because no developers, we're all PMs. I was like, is that we're going to do it on time. We're going to get our schedule, we're going to do it on time. We know our expectations. We're going to set them low so we can do it. And we did it. And then it was like, everyone gets started. I'm like, man, there goes our leverage. But it was all good.
So it's a nice day today. So, has anybody been out of the house?
Nope.
I went out to get some Amazon delivery back into the house.
So
I went for a walk, which was nice.
Just to walk the dogs.
So I ordered Costco, I don't know, a week or so ago, and it said 2 hours. I paid for the 2-day delivery, just one item, but it has still not arrived. And I'm like, what the heck, you know? I gave them time. Okay, I said, take 5 days, but at least give it to me after 5 days.
Yeah.
People started using even our app, so I got a message for one of the help, and then I went out for the help.
Oh, really? That's good. So did you publish it on App Store?
I'm just joking.
Yeah, we don't have the app yet. I mean, it's just web-based right now.
So today in my backyard, I have the first rose blooming that I had planted, when my mom was here or leaving that day, we planted it and I have the first rose. It bloomed.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
so here it is. Perfect.
Hmm.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Hey, that's a what color is it? It looks like
It's like orangey, peachy
Yeah.
color. Yeah.
Do you still have any veggies and herbs growing?
Still waiting for them to come out. They're like little teeny ones now, but I don't know, I need to see. Maybe it was too cold, so maybe because of that. My cilantro is still up, but I was hoping to have some tomatoes and some cucumber, zucchini, but those guys haven't done much yet.
Am I the only one who feels like they need to grow their own food now with all this going on?
I do. I was like, yes, I'm ahead of the curve.
Yeah, you were. I need to get some tips from you.
Sure.
You know how people have a green thumb? I have a brown thumb. Whatever I touch dries out.
It's called a black thumb.
Black thumb.
So after I presented, I switched to the iPad and I came out in the backyard because I have not been out all the time. So especially like, I don't know how many days. So I was like, I need to get some air.
Mm.
So felt good.
Yeah, we're trying to once a week go for a little walk because otherwise I literally just only go from my bed to the table to the kitchen to back to the bed.
Yeah, there's like a lot of memes, that what are you doing or where are you going this weekend? And there's like lay bedroom or, some names they make out of it. One in like my local language also they've made in Kashmiri. This thing is, by the way, recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Hello guys,
Blackmail
we're back.
information.
Oh, they're back.
Hey, the judges were anonymous in awarding me the first prize.
That's just
Oh,
rude.
hey. Nice dog.
Oh,
Hey,
look at that.
What's his name?
happy.
Happy. All right.
Yeah, my daughter named it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cute. He's so cuddly.
I know, he looks like a little teddy bear.
Totally.
But he's 5 years old.
Oh, so
Not-
sweet.
Not puppy anymore.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there, Chris got one too.
Right.
Oh,
And Zach has his little baby right there.
We've all been showing off babies and dogs while we've been waiting on you guys.
Oh, okay.
And cats.
Right.
So now Abby
And
like,
Kendall as
will
well,
not
the
go
new one,
anywhere
huh?
else.
Yeah.
Kendall? There's
Yeah.
the other one.
Just watching a movie.
Oh, okay. I should call my kids. And my dog came a couple of times into the study. She like poked her head in and was like, what the heck is going on here? And she just like went back, So
Cute.
all right. So do we have everyone on the bridge?
Hi.
Okay, so drum roll, we have decisions. So anybody wants to play the drum? Drum roll. All right. So first of all, the judges were unanimous in saying that everyone really did tremendous job in putting together this presentations and demos. I mean, it was really impressive. Each and every one was a very impressive demo and a concept, and nothing but great words on all the effort which you guys spent. And we've been all very busy, and I was explaining to the judges that we've been like really busy, and then at the same time doing this is a lot of commitment from you guys. So really appreciate that. It showed up, and Katz, Rashmi, and Lai, if you want to say something just before we start announcing,
I just wanted to say this is one of the best hackathons that I've actually judged several hackathons. The quality of the these entries that came in, I'm blown away by it. So, congratulations to all. It was really tough to figure out. This is very, very close. So,
yeah.
Thank you, Rashmi.
I would say that you guys are phenomenal. I mean, the all apps not only for the business value, but a bunch of social value for these days. Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, same here. I'm very, very impressed by the dedication that you guys have done, during weekends and off hours just to finish this demo for us. I'm very impressed, but I want to see more. So I want to see you guys doing a quarterly hackathon, and so that I'll be willing to spend my weekends and Sunday with you guys. Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's a big compliment coming from Lai. That's a big compliment coming from Lai, especially, she's, been involved in so many of these events and organized it and all that, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you guys are great.
Thank you, Lai.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to award the third place award. And by the way, this was very close. So, I would say the placement is like very, very, kind of like close to each other. So, but we have to have an order of award. So the third place award goes to Corona.
Okay.
So a round of applause to the team, Corona.
Yay.
And then the second place goes to drum rolls again, and it will be helpful for me to put the whole spreadsheet in front of me so I don't say somebody else's name.
You can't do the Oscars.
Team Exotic.
Oh! COVID. And COVID.
You guys can come this side. Come.
COVID.
Come on. Here's a small baby from my side. They've been watching a little bit too, so.
Wow.
And the first prize goes to drum roll.
COVID 365.
COVID 365.
All
right, guys.
Great job, team.
All right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And I do want to thank, I want to especially thank, we had some people from marketing from India join us, and I want to just call them out because they pretty much spend the whole night with us. So they got in at 3 a.m. their time, and right now it's 6:30 in the morning for them, 6:45 almost.
Wow.
So that's Sudhir. A round of applause for him. And Harish Pal. And we had, who else is there from your team, Sudhir? I cannot see everyone's screen.
There's also Amit.
Amit as well, Amit Chauhan, right? And Neeraj Niranjan. So thank you guys for joining and supporting this. I know they will be posting on the website, the web pages. I hope you guys are staying safe in India as well, and everyone else from our local community here. Thank you for joining again. Anybody who wants to say something, I would say let's start with the winners first, right? Chris, Zach, any of you guys want to say a couple of words?
Yeah, so just real quickly, again, the team worked so well together. We met every single day for sometimes multiple hours, and we put in a lot of work. So just want to thank the team for putting in this awesome effort. And I think what we came up with is right. So thank you all.
Well, you know, Chris, after this call, we need to talk because we need that tool to be used in our company.
Oh, that's coming.
A lot of people might not like the fact that you made it.
We can talk.
All
Good
right.
job, team. Thank you all.
Great work. So how are you guys going to spend your $5,000?
Can't go on vacation right now.
Like a team vacation. The team vacation, huh?
Yeah.
Exotic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Second team was Team Exotic. Anybody who wants to be the spokesperson for that team?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say, thank you, Yasser, for coming up with that idea. I remember when I first got the email, I was talking to Chris, and I was actually really blown away by the idea. I feel like my team and I, we put in a lot of work, and I felt closer to some members there that I haven't talked to before in the past. So I thought that was a really good experience, not only from my team, but all the other teams as well, I'm sure.
Great, great. How do you guys plan to use your money? Las Vegas, gambling?
I don't have any plans for myself.
Maybe buy masks.
Oh, yes. Buy masks.
If they are available.
Yeah. All right. Team Corona, you guys want to say a couple of words?
So we liked, Chris's stuff was actually COVID C65 was, I think, well deserved. It has all three technology suites being used, so that was good. But Team Exotic, we had to drop Ryan out of our team because we could only have true developers. So dang it, we missed on that opportunity. Otherwise, that would be.
Yes, yeah, that is true actually, because they came with Ryan in their team as well, and they had Yang Dong too. I mean, like they had 4 developers, and I said like, no, you can't. You have to keep 2. So.
Well, I recommend Ryan to Maureen's team, so.
Yeah, and
but I mean, they could only keep 2. So, but anyway.
But in future,
integration.
We should build onto this and actually make this public available to the community members so they can use it. So maybe what Ryan has, the team Exotic has built, we can integrate that into the dashboard, and that way we can make that available to public. And the other thing I wanted to mention, another idea we had, it was Khurshid's idea, was the employee productivity tracker. And finally, we had to drop that because we could not do 2 dashboards and work full time. We had to drop that idea, but I think Chris did a good job and team did a good job with it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things is that there were a couple of very good ideas. Like obviously, your COVID-19 dashboard is very relevant right now, and it's important that we grow it. And then the other one was the school the meal system. It's a very important thing. It's an issue right now for the communities where a lot of students depend on the meals from the school. So I'm hoping we can as a volunteer thing, we can build a little bit more on this for the school meal thing, which can be really used, and then the dashboard as well. So I mean, there's a lot of social values. The judges were also saying there's a lot of social values from this type of thing. Even the sharing of the task from the neighbor. It's very important to reduce the distance. So there's all these ideas were like really good. So if you guys want to keep working a little bit and improving it, it's always a opportunity for us to take it to the next hackathon. Remember, there's a next one coming as well soon.
Well, I think we should make it available to the public, but I don't know if you know, if you that's your decision if you want to keep it like with revenue or just like that available.
Yep.
Actually,
Well,
one way to spend your prize money would be, I guess, 365 and exotic. You could actually, Mahesh, you could build Quarantini and let them let them buy things on your app so they can contribute revenue to you.
Yeah.
So let's. I mean, you can promote Quarantini just by, you know, giving your prize money towards it, and you can get on there and buy whatever you can buy.
So one question I had for the winning team: how are you guys tracking the standing up, like the post body movement?
So we actually, there's an accelerometer on the on a Raspberry Pi. So that's something Levi can talk a little more about it, but that's how when he shook it and how, if a person was shaking with it or anything, that would show up.
Okay.
Same as your Fitbit. Fitbit has an accelerometer looking for the movement. So same thing as what we have integrated into our hardware.
Okay. Cool.
You know, if somebody from team LMHM and team Quarantinis want to say something, you know, quickly as well.
Go ahead, Zach.
Oh, I'm nominated. I got screaming babies, so I'll make it quick. Yeah, no, I think everybody had great ideas, and this was super fun. And I agree that, you know, I think next time maybe we'll bring some developers on, you know, got to do something to place, you know. But we had a good time coming up with the idea. And I think the part that we approached it as, which is going in with a business level idea of technology and being able to build an application or a solution like that using our tool, is what we really wanted to provide value-wise. And so I think we did that. So I'm proud of our team and the time we put in. We definitely put in a lot of hours and thought into it, and I appreciate everybody, you know, hearing our presentation. I think we had a good time overall.
Well, Zach, one of the things, you know, as a company we've been looking at is like, you know, we have this great tool, right, which can help for companies to automate their simple business processes, which they might be doing manually through email and spreadsheet. And what you guys demonstrated is so right on. Because there's schools which are managing right now the order taking and the distribution of these meals. I mean, this is a real thing. So, I mean, if we can just volunteer that in place of volunteering our time, can we volunteer this thing as a process for a school to, you know, come in and improve for themselves? You know, I think there's a value there, right? So, I agree on that point. You know.
Yeah, and that was the most. That was the most fun part, I guess, was being able to do all that without, you know, literally a single line of code. So I think, again, like I said, that was the part I think our team, we're proud of what we put together for them.
For my point, your app is a second prize.
Thank you, Katz. Yeah. Well, you know, now maybe we don't have extra work to do. So it's maybe there's a silver lining to, you know, not top 3. So anyway,
If
I've got my Miller Lite.
The LMHM team wants an introduction to Plano ISD, you know, I can help you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The meeting where you guys can demo this.
Right. And I think as a company, if this happens, as a company, we'll spend some time. We will not do that weekends and night thing. If we have to do, we'll contribute some developer time to build an application for a school, you know, as a voluntary hours. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is amazing that the point that you guys mentioned, you did it without writing a line of code, and that's really apt for letting, you know, the schools administrators be actually given access to the tool so they can actually use it. So because it's a great tool to have, the platform you guys have.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. I felt every project is very exciting and very impressive. And more important, I felt every project is highly potential will affect our, our actions in future in some moment maybe. So those, the knowledge and the insights are quite important. By the way, I lived in Plano also, so yeah, I think the food for Plano for school kids are very important.
And Yasser, just a big congratulations to you and kudos on this idea, because what you've just done is you've shown the potential of what these guys are building to them in terms of how their work enables society. I think sometimes that's something that's a gap that most CEOs are not able to show the employees, the day in and day out what you guys work on. How does that relate to a value you create for people as an end user? And I think this idea of yours is amazing. Instead of giving a platform to students, I think having your own employees build things, it just, now they can see the value of things they build and why they build that.
Thank you, Rashmi. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you.
Very good.
Mahesh, you want to say something as well?
Sure.
Mahesh, Tamar, whoever from your team.
Yeah. So what I'm really proud of is is my team itself. So we had an unusual set of events. So all of our team members pretty much were completely booked, like morning and evening. They were working overtime, late hours. So on Thursday, we were making a decision whether we need to actually pull out of the competition, right? And then finally we decided, you know what, let's see what we can do in 2 days. So the whole thing we actually pulled together in 2 days. So I'm really impressed by all the work that the team has done. So
that's a true hackathon timescale.
Yeah.
This is impressive. That is really impressive.
Right.
Just good job for you, everybody.
I was
Today was a
telling the
long
judges
day.
Yeah. I was just telling the judges the same thing, that these guys are extremely busy from a point of view of technology, especially in this team, and I mean, everyone is busy, but this was great. Thank you, guys.
So we pretty much our first meeting was actually on Thursday to decide whether we'll go forward or not. On Friday we had another call.
Mahesh, don't highlight that. That's a project management failure. Okay. I'm just joking.
So Yasser, so does that mean, since we did not have a weekend, so can we call tomorrow loud?
No, I mean, hey, you guys didn't have a weekend this weekend, but next weekend you definitely have a weekend. Okay? All right, guys. Judges, anybody wants to say something? Any more cats, live, parting words, anything?
Before we leave, I want to say great thank you to Vivek and his IT team for supporting the technology that, powering the AI engine. And also great thanks to Yendong and Hema for being consultant to all the teams. Hema get on our team call and help me figure out some algorithm problems. And Yendong get on a personal call with me, help me fix some mathematic problems on my algorithm. Great thanks for all of them.
Well, very well. Thank you so much for mentioning them. Hema, Yangdong, thank you for being the coaches for all the teams and helping them through it, so. All right, guys.
Once again, I'm looking forward to the next hackathon.
All right. Well, so all the teams who participated, like obviously the first 3 teams got some awards. The other 2 teams are going to get a, spring special surprise, So we will not leave anyone behind, like they say. All right.
No child left behind.
Thank you, guys. Thank you again. It was great.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.